are live. Welcome everyone to another Saturday Faction Wars with RTK's new player Conquest Swiss 20. Yeah, today we are looking at a few players every round, and yeah, it's gonna be some quick fun with some casual gameplay. Now, first of all, we have our first replay coming in. Nurgle from General Spotify versus Eidol? Yeah. Let me just check who is this player. Smiling Samurai or Eidol. Let's just go in and check what is up with this Nurgle versus Lizardmen battle. Nurgle here going with Tamakin the Maggot Lord. Plus, shit, I forgot how to pronounce his name. Cakes to be found. Plus, it's mostly DLC units, really. A line of Pestigors plus a couple Plogers. I think these are the great weapon ones for the anti-large AP. Other than that, there are more monsters on the field. We are seeing the Barons of the Bog, a very tough, sturdy Hippox Riders Regiment of Renown, and also a Regiment of Renown Chaos Giant of Nurgle. The Bilious Thundergrub, which has an explosive ability. Yeah, it's an explosive fart. Yeah, no caster from Nurgle. That is very gutsy here, not bringing any spell support, and up against one of the more magic adapt. Oh wait, hold on. There's also some Nurgle Chaos Warhounds Poison lurking on the far side. But yeah, that up against a very magically adapt faction here, the Lizardmen, even having magical creatures in the skies. On the front line there, red-crested skinks from Eidol, and Sword Spears as well. Red-crested Sword Spears, a rather expensive front line for the Lizardmen standard, since they mostly just bring skinks. And backed up by a bunch of monsters. Salamander Hunting Pack really good against Nurgle if they ever want to kill Nurgle monsters, due to their anti-large and fire damage that can limit enemies healing. Other than that, there are some monsters. Sacred Croxigo is one of them, the Court of Hortal, which they have the dazed effect. Wait, only the Court of Hortal has the dazed effect, which reduces enemy melee defense. But yeah, just slightly better than regular Croxigors, and having better melee stats and magical damage, and better leadership as well. At the back there are some feral cult ones, and that is it for the ground forces led by Nakai and Skink Priest of Beast with Flock of Doom and Curse of Aura Air. In this guys, a couple Quattles. Wait, only one Quattles, never mind. Yeah. And that's it for the Iron builds. The two spell casting creatures here on the field. One, we have the Skink Priest, with Flock of Dooms expected to drain down enemy blobs, and there's the Quattle here dropping in those AoE, lesser Chain Lightning, lesser, well, regular Urano's Thunderbolt here to bombard enemy units. You're never gonna see me bring a caster. Whoa, that's a very gutsy move playing as a Nurgle here. You can see that the Pestigor is already being lit up by all those Salamander Hunting Packs, very literally. Those Plogers are gonna have a rough time here with those Umbro Tide and Salamander Hunting Pack lining up their shots onto these very lightly armored but very expensive monstrous infantry here. You can see a huge dent of HP has already been made on these guys. Pestigors are trading very well into the Sword Spears here. Oh, the Sword of Filth. Yeah, Sword of Filth from Kask, if I remember correctly. Yep, Sword of Filth from Kask, dropping their melee defense, making those Pestigors hitting a lot more consistently onto them, and also Black Cleaver. Okay, I think that might have been an overkill, because even if you don't juice up their melee attack, they still have 29 melee attack over 8 melee defense, and they'll still consistently hit. It's probably better to just drop the spell onto another melee unit and help them. For example, throw Case over here to drop the Sword of Filth, and then drop and also dropping the Black Cleaver over here might have been better. But either way, it looks like those Sword Spears are getting plowed through by those normally slightly inferior Pestigors. Over here, Plogers and Pestigors are just piling onto the cohort of Portal here. The Red Crested needs to charge in because these Court of Portal is a little bit separated. And right now, oh, looks like it's a duel between... oh, it's not a duel, it's a gang fight now. Actually, 2v2 here. Oh no, the kind of wonder, he is a mighty fighter, but up against two monsters, that's not his forte. He only has 40 melee defense, so not exactly the best thing around in the world. If we look at the ability Thunder Graph, that's 69. Nice. 73 base melee attack. And it's way more than Nakai's melee defense. Nakai isn't exactly a tanky lord. Yeah. Especially not when there's a 500 of those armor-piercing weapon strength giants slapping him in the face. And Tamarkin also turning on Nurgle's favorite son, juicing up his melee defense to 66. So Nakai is having some troubles landing hits on him. Especially when he also have that damage resistance. And Nakai absolutely getting bullied by these two huge weapon strength fighters. One also have anti-lord specifically counteract monstrous lord like the Kind of Wonder. And on the far side there, Barons of the Balk plus an overwhelming force of Plogers and Pestigals are overwhelming those Sacred Croxagors, and Chaos Warhounds have been unleashed onto the Summoner Hunting Pack and will be chewing them up. Nakai got absolutely slapped. Don't ever underestimate the giants. They have a ton of armor-piercing weapon strength. One of the highest weapon strengths in the game. Only a few selected units have higher weapon strength than that. But yeah, while over here, Boxagors are fighting hard, and they are bringing down these Plogers and even Kask as well. But yeah, I think that might be it here. The Umbral Tide are still firing, but the Boxagors are completely kind of surrounded. It's not completely surrounded per se, but some friendly fire coming in, and not enough firepower coming in from the Umbral Tide to target the Thalia's Thunder Gruff. But I don't think it makes a lot of difference. Oh no, the Quattro taking a ton of damage. I think there might be a bunch of friendly fire as well, due to the Umbral Tide shooting into this block here. Oh wow, okay, that absolutely lit up Kask there. But yeah, the Plogers on the other side is very much victorious thanks to the Pestigals and Barons of the Bach just crushing their opposition, and that is going to be army losses soonish, I think. As the Court of Portal, the Portal, they both are routing away, and the Kind of Wanderer alone. Hey, he's regrouped, but here comes Tamarkin, ready to keep hacking down the enemy monsters with his anti-large AP. Umbral Tide is still holding, but I don't see what else can protect them from some Plogers charging forth against them. And Barons of the Rock are still very healthy too. They don't have passive heal though, so they'll need a Fecundity if they ever want to get some HP back. But I don't think that matters. The Ploger flanking has been very successful. They're crushing whatever in their way, with the Pestigals as well winning those fights. Yeah, Quattro unfortunately just not a great unit if you're not looking to disrupt enemy artillery or missile boxes. It's not exactly a great fighter, and a lot of its value comes from its ability to fly over enemy formations and drop into enemy backline and disrupt their shooting. And in this scenario against Nurgle, there's almost no need for that, due to the fact that Nurgle simply don't have much missiles. So yeah, that is going to be a very dominant victory for the Nurgle army here, just crushing the resistance wherever they go. Poor Nakai getting slapped by both the Nurgle Giant Regiment of Renown and Tamarkin himself. Yeah. The Plogers did pretty well. Yeah, the Boxagors are also a bit overpriced for what they do, I think. Or it's not really overpriced, but they don't really have a specific role they're good at. They're more like a generalist anti-armor unit that have some mass as well, but like there's no specific role they're good at doing. Maybe the Court of Portal can be worth it if you're just expecting to get a monstrous showdown, surround the enemy, and start beating them up with a unit of very elite Sacred Croxagors, but a second unit might be a bit overkill. Like, it's probably better to save up some money and just bring the... I don't think you even need Croxagores in this matchup. What you need is a lot of blow darts and javelins, probably. Like, javelins would do wonders against Plogers. Yeah. Dumbrothine and Salamenta had the potential to carry the game, but unfortunately the front line is very narrow, and you can see the Saurus are very disappointing as an infantry. Might as well just get more skinks on the field. Five javelins would definitely be good here. And some more regular skinks too. Like, just have the regular skinks deal with the pesticles for a while, and let the javelin skinks at the back just chuck everything they have into the Plogers or any other Nurgle monsters. And Koans, I don't think regular Koans would cut it. Definitely, probably if you cut the Quattle, cut the Sacred Croxagore, you have enough money for 3 Koan cavalry. And also cut the Feral Koans. Feral Koans is cheap and cheerful, but they also lack a specific role. Yeah, their armor piercing isn't exactly needed in most of the scenarios. Where like if they're fighting something armored, chances are they won't do well since they're kind of crap in melee anyway. So yeah, I don't know. All right, cool. Next up, we have a couple more replays for round 1. Let us jump right in. Actually, let me just download them first. Give me a second. Next up, Skaven versus Vampire Counts. End of the Lion versus Milky Way here. End of the Lion going with Manfred as the leadership and a ton of chaff. 4 regular zombies, 1 the Tithe, which has some extra HP, and 3 extra models and HP, I think. 3 skeleton spears, 2 corpse guards. I think these are the regular ones. I'm not sure if they have Unholy Lodestone. I don't think they do. I need to check. 2 Cryptoras, 2 Blood Knights with lances, and 2 more Vargheist, yeah. Oh, they do have Unholy Lodestone. Okay, so Unholy Lodestone and Manfred, not on a dragon, just on horseback. Coming in with the sort of Unholy Power, which is a very nice magic regenerating item. Invocation of the Hack, Raise Dead, and Fate of Buna to delete weapons teams, I believe. On the other side, for the Skavens, just a very tight formation of War Flamethrowers mixed in with Claret Spears in the front line there. And there are not a lot of weapons teams, just Natty Bull Sharpshooter ready to just shoot up some enemy monsters or lords, sniping out Manfred from afar. So Manfred, luckily he's not a dragon today, so it's a bit harder to hit him, and he's a little bit more nimble to dodge shots. Man, the lighting on this map is shit. Like, come on! Like, why do you have to place the lighting all the way there to just cast a shadow all over where it matters the most? Yeah, the visibility is gonna be a bit shit, so apologies for that. Blame CA's map placement, I suppose. But yeah, anyways, Poison Wind Globes on the flanks, ready to clean up some enemy infantry, which will be very key in clearing out the vampire chaff. Skaven Slave Spears backing them up with Red Ogres for mass. Let's see how the Skaven box will perform against the vampire counts. Looks like Manfred is a bit too nimble for the Natty Bubbles to hit it consistently, so the Natty Bubbles are just switching around to just snipe out the Corpse Guard, trying to kill off those leadership and vigor, refresh support, and also healing too. Don't forget about that part. We have Fate of Buna immediately onto one of the Poison Wind Globes, knowing that it is pretty much the most dangerous unit for the Vampire Count's infantries. And Poison Wind Globes are turning around to try and... Oh, they're launching their shots into the Blood Knights. Okay, that's pretty good. I think they were trying to shoot at Manfred, but it just missed Manfred and landed behind him, and it hit the Blood Knights instead. But yeah, you can see the Fate of Buna immediately deletes the whole Poison Wind Globes, and Blood Knights with lances, they have anti-large state, and they charge into the fight here. But there are just too many clan... Oh, shit. Damn, the lighting. But yeah, too many Skaven Slaves and just a bunch of Red Ogres flooding in as well, plus the Pack Master holding the line, and you can see the Blood Knights took a ton of damage, but not doing a whole lot in return, giving these Red Ogres quite a bit of value already, actually losing on this trade. Very surprising enough. I almost feel like the new Sword and Shield Blood Knights is actually better than the than the Lance's Blood Knights because of their melee stats or something. I don't know, but yeah, Poison Globes got dive bombed by our guys as the Skavens and our attention were on the right flank. And both Poison Globes have been knocked out. The Warp Flamethrower is also not doing a whole lot. One of them is also dive bombed by the Vargheists. And even the Natty Bull structure is being dealt with the Blood Knights just diving deep inside the enemy lines. But the Blood Knights, unfortunately, they seem to have an attacking order onto a different unit and not actually doing attacking moves and are just trying to push through the enemy forces, which incurs a lot of damage on them as the enemies are surrounding them and fighting back. Yeah, the visibility is really shit on this map, unfortunately. Yeah, zombies piling in and Vargheists are annihilating those Warp Flamethrowers. Unfortunately for the vampires, the Blood Knights have been very heavily damaged. Okay, these guys probably got an invocation of the hack and came back for a second win. Now trying to beat up some Red Ogres and the Packmaster as well, with some zombie support too, so it helps them a bit. But yeah, the Vargheists are largely successful in just jumping the enemy back line. But the Crypt Horrors have been forgotten by the Vampire Count, and the balance of power is slightly in the Skaven's favor right now, as the Red Ogres are doing a lot of work, especially against the Blood Knights, who are not even close to earning back their value so far. So more invocation of the hack, trying to keep them alive, but yeah, I feel like we should just abandon the Blood Knights with lances at this point. Just bring the Sword and Board version due to their better melee stats and stuff. Cause man, like from the few times I used the Blood Knights with both Sword and Board and lances on the field, seems like every time the Sword and Board version outperforms the lances version. I don't know why. It just happened that way. But yeah, the Blood Knights with lances are surprisingly fragile and dies quite fast. Not sure why, but like they're supposed to be good with their hunger regeneration and armor and stuff like that, right? But no, they take a lot of damage when surrounded. Maybe because they also don't have they have decent armor, but yeah, I don't know why, man. Oh wait, they don't have the Grail Knight 15% damage resistance. That's definitely part of the reason too. But yeah, a little bit of Brass Orb once again from Ikit Claw, cleaning up some enemy chaff, and seems like the Vampire counts are kind of running out of steam. Their damage dealing units, the Vargheists and Blood Knights, are almost out of HP, taking a lot of attrition damage as they were just engaging in the fights. The Crypt Horrors are in the fight now though, but yeah, just pushing through and not having a lot of infantry support behind them, so they're taking quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, I feel like Crypt Horrors are almost an underwhelming unit. They have some staying power, but that's not exactly the greatest staying power either. But at least the Skaven units are slightly wavering in leadership, getting attrition down by the unrouting. I mean, they're kind of wavering and crumbling and all that, but they're not routing at all. Yeah, the undead will hold strong even if they have flimsy leadership. Oh no, these Blood Knights, they have their attacking order on a routing or shattered unit of Red Ogres, and they're trying to force path their way through those other unrouted Red Ogres in front of them. You can see that they're trying to force path their way through, and then they're just getting hit. But now finally they have the attacking order back into the Red Ogres, and they're able to perform a surround and break those Red Ogres. Should be able to do fine. Wait, I totally missed out Manfred. I guess he just got I guess he got Cleansing Ruin to death. I might actually jump back into the replay to see what happened to Manfred there, because I didn't really pay attention to him. And he just died on us, so yeah, we can't really see him. Oh, you mean just not having the... Oh, wait, the unit info, you mean this, or the panel here? Alright, anyways, we can probably turn off. New Blood Knights are very good. Yeah, that sounds about right. Manfred died to flensing. Yeah, sounds about right. Then too. The stats on the left. Yeah, I'll turn it off and give everyone a more cinematic feel. I'll turn it on when Yeah, I'll do a bit more manual turning it on if we need information. Because normally I have it on because sometimes I want to see their stats. Um, but yeah, another brass orb blasting on those vampire chaff. And balance of power is still in favor of the Skaven, simply because Manfred is dead and a Kicklaw is still very much healthy. And also the Plague Master is still in, just duking it out. Surrounded by undead, but ironically, this lone unholy Stone Corpse card is holding everything together with those Vigor Refresh, with the healing, and a little bit of leadership as well. Not that it matters, or I'm still going to turn it on again. Just want to see the leadership of the zombies. But yeah. I think we will just do a bit of fast forward here as more and more Skavens are routing. Ooh, a big Cleansing Ruin into this whole blob. And a lot of these vampire units are quite tattered. Varguys are on the verge of crumbling, and they will soon be pushed into crumbling by the... Oh god, I hate the lighting on this map. By the Cleansing Ruin, and that is a big hit to the vampire count's non-leadership balance of power. You can see the Skavens are slightly pulling ahead once again, but the vampire counts did have the capture point, just earning those victory tickets. But a very key moment here, the Packmaster has taken enough damage and was like, enough, I'm out. And if the Blood Knights can commit to chasing him off and denying him from returning, that would be a huge win. But at the same time, these Varguys needs to keep chasing down rounds of units. Oh no! Blood Knights! Stop chasing! Stop chasing the Skaven slaves! Go after the Packmaster when he's... no! What are you doing? Oh, they're probably trying to go back and... Oh, okay, now they're going after the Packmaster. That's good, that's good. Perhaps even pull back the other monsters and stuff. The Skeleton Spears, they're still holding with 7,000 HP, 5,000 HP and 150 Skaven kills. They earned back their value and then some more. But yeah, the Varguys would be quite useful in helping to finish off the Packmaster here. The skeleton is just... The skeletons, they are kind of a very key unit here, just keeping all these Skaven's infantry at bay, pinning them down, and also just grinding down the Red Ogres, preventing them from reinforcing a Kicklaw at the capture point here. Now the Varguys jumps down just to contest the capture point with a Kicklaw. I don't think they can actually contest the point because they're a flying unit. But either ways, they're just like punching a Kicklaw. Staunch line of spears indeed. And now the Blood Knights are coming back to reinforce. I don't know if they can take down a Kicklaw at half health, but these are Blood Knights, so I hope... Never mind, I think that is it. The Skavens decided to throw in the tower. I'm not seeing flashing on the Kicklaw's flag, so I assume it's not army losses yet. But yeah, that is going to be GG here, with victory belongs to the Undead, holding it till the end. Definitely the self-healing aspect of these Crypt Horrors help a lot. Just keeping them alive in the late fight, where the Skavens doesn't have the DPS to quickly burst them down. And yeah, the Varguys did well, just dive bombing those weapons teams and eliminating them. The Blood Knights, though, one of them didn't quite do enough to earn back their worth. The other did. The other managed to survive late into the game due to all the invocation of the hex that Manfred threw at them, and earned back quite a bit of value afterwards. Just hanging on to the late game and running down units, and also being a very important anti-large force that grinds down enemy Red Ogres and stuff. And Packmaster, very important of that too. And yeah, the Skaven leadership, unfortunately, the weak leadership of the Skavens really coming in to bite them in the back. In the game there, they definitely had a bit of advantage on the balance of power there, but simply because they are slightly weakened by the fear effects of all the undead units, and they themselves flames leadership, and then they just got routed a little bit earlier into when it hits the late game, and just not able to grind it out against the undead. The Red Ogres did some very solid damage, capitalizing on the minor mistakes on those Blood Knights and just bogging them down, grinding them down. Just that Blood Knights, having access to healing, can recover from those mistakes, while Skavens don't have healing, so they cannot. They can't recover much from any like unit losses. And Vampire counts half a second chance. And Anti-Bubbles did a lot of damage, shooting down a bunch of corpse guards, and I assume they also shot at Manfred. I'm gonna quickly jump back in just to see what exactly happened to Manfred. I didn't really pay attention to him, just want to see what happens. Yeah, just a quick check. Oh, we have 5 rounds of matches today. Okay. So we'll see quite a few games. Alright. Let's just keep an eye on Manfred. Alright. He flies in, the rest of the zombies keep marching forth. Oh yeah, just consistent flensing ruin. And anti-boobs. Alright, I forgot about that. Howling Warp get really nice use of the ability. Just locking down Manfred, allowing those Netty Boobles to capitalize on that and just keep shooting at Manfred when he couldn't move. He should have dropped into fight in melee for a bit against Skaven Chaff, because that's how you activate the passive healing on the hunger. Otherwise you don't get the passive heal. So that's why he just if he could have jumped in and just fight against the Clamorous Spears while sitting near a coast guard, that would be the most optimal scenario here. But of course the Flensing Ruin is just continuously chipping him away. That was not great. But yeah, just Flensing Ruin killing him. And because he is not on a dragon, he is more fragile due to a smaller HP pool. And the healing also coming in less effective because the percentage healing has a smaller number to work on. Alright, next up, once again, we're seeing some Nurgle units here. But this is the Demons of Chaos from Senfishy versus Sesame Elmo as the High Elves. And we're seeing a lot of Vanguard units. Wait, no, does Fiends have Vanguard? I'm not sure, actually. Anyways, 2 Screamers, 3 Corn Furies, definitely the best Fury version out of all of the Furies, simply because they're frenzy. What else? We do have some Nurglings in front, Barons of the Bog, a couple Plague Bearers of Nurgle. And the Nurglings are probably deployed Vanguard, just because how close they are to the capture point. Anyways, yeah, a couple of Fiends. They don't have Vanguard. Never mind. Chaos Furies. A couple Scream is one of them. The Shrieking Skyray Regiment of Renowned version with that explosion ability. Leading the army is a Demon Prince of Nurgle with Spirit Leech and Miasma of Pestilence to lower enemy melee attack. Demonic Onslaught for the extra weapon damage boost. And on the other side of the battlefield, a Staunch Line of Spears, a very typical army of the High Elves. Well, I wouldn't say it's typical, but a very typical unit for the High Elves for sure. Illyrian Reaver Archers and the rest a ton of mobility as well. Silverhelms, Illyrian Reavers, Dragon Princes, 2 of them, 1 of them on the Regiment of Renowned, Fireborn with Anti-Lock AP, and Archmage of Fire. So coming in with some fire synergy here with that Fireborn unit. Burning Hand as well to clear out Demonic Trap with that magic damage. That's it for army builds now. Let's get the battle started in normal speed. Reaver Archers will be kiting, just whittling down the enemy forces. And this Nurgle army also doesn't, this Nurgle unit also does not have access to active heals outside of maybe random frequencies. Anyway, Spirit Leech onto the Archmage of Fire, noticing that there is no healing whatsoever on the High Elf side. So direct damage spell will be effective here as they cannot be compensated. They can't be counteracted by health regeneration. And immediately the Nurgle Demon Prince, seeing that the Archmage is alone in the sky, he knows he can't take down the Moon Dragon very easily. While the Screamers will be going into the backline trying to jump on the Fireborn. Silverhelms are charging in, but Miasma of Pestilence is lowering their melee attack, reducing their melee damage output. Not that it really matters, Chaos Furies are pretty weak in melee anyways, and they got charged, so they're taking a bunch of shock damage, while their Screamers are continuously hounding the 5-1. The 5-1 are trying to run away, which means they have their backs exposed to the pursuing attacks of all these Screamers, just continuously taking damage while doing none in return, which is quite unfortunate. Burning Hand on the front line earlier, but I don't think it did a whole lot. Fiends are now coming after the Fireborn, and yeah, things are looking quite grim for the High Elves. The staunch line of spears are, well, they're staunch line of spears, so they're gonna hold, but the mobility engagements are not looking too hot for the High Elves. The Screamers are just using everything they have to go after the 5-1 and try to keep them in the fight and drag them down, but looks like the 5-1 have managed to extract themselves from the engagement and will be coming in for another charge right into their rear. Miasma of Pestilence once again, a little bit of a breath attack from the Moondragon, not doing a whole lot of damage though. Miasma of Pestilence dropping the 5-1's melee attack, but it's fine, they still have the anti-large bonus, which will help them against the enemy Screamers, which are large targets indeed. Tricking Sky Rays are crumbling, but oh, they need to I don't know if pulling out the 5-1 is worth it, because the Fiends of Slaanesh will be able to catch up even if you pull away with the 5-1, and this gives them a flanking rear attack, which adds to their which doubles their charge bonus with a devastating flanker trait. So things are not looking too hot for the High Elves mobility for sure. The 5-1 are running lower and lower in HP as they are trying to run away, but they just can't shrug off those very sticky unit from the Slaanesh roster, and those Fiends, man, they're just so fast. 90 speed even after frontline fights. The staunch line of spears might be staunch, but when Barons of the Bog and Nurglings are in the fray as well, they have been grind down, no questions asked. Reavers continues to fight. They're just chilling at the back there, trying to chip away the lightly armored demons units. Oh wow, okay, those Fiends have been juiced up quite a bit there with the Horn of Corn. And on the far side, the still very healthy unit of Fiends of Slaanesh has cleaned up the 5-1 and will be coming back to try and chase after the Elven Reavers, who still have 92 speed versus the 86. So it's not going to be easy for them to catch up, but with the Elven Reavers charging in, trying to stop the Nurgle Demon Prince from going after the Archmage, this is the perfect opportunity for the Demon Prince, for the Fiends to just jump in and catch those Elven Reavers. But this might have been a bait, as the Fiends have been quite surrounded, so that opens them up to a breath attack from the Moondragon. And also Silver Helms are coming in to reinforce, but balance of power is in favor of the Demons of Chaos as they are ruining those frontline fights, thanks to the tenacity of those Plague Bearers and the lack of damage output on the spears. How much are they doing so far? Not much, as the Plague Bearers do have some very sturdy melee defense at 41, while the spears only have roughly 24 baseline melee attack, and they're really struggling to do damage here. Plus, the Moondragon is getting lower and lower, getting targeted by Spirit Leeches and smacked by the large mace from the Nurgle Demon Prince. And I think we can fast forward here. I don't see how the High Elves can bring this back. A Spirit Leech, and that shall seal the fate of the High Elves, triggering army losses. I'm sure the Slaanesh units are sticky. Indeed, they are very sticky in different ways. Multiple ways, let's put it that way. Fiends of Slaanesh getting some really good value overall. And I think one mistake here might have been just trying to constantly pull the 5-1 away from those fights. Like, sometimes you just have to commit to the fight and just not pull your units out. Pulling out against Slaanesh is a very dangerous maneuver for sure. I know. Pretend you didn't hear that, but yes. Anyways, yeah. If you try to pull out in a fight against Slaanesh units, those Slaanesh units usually have enough speed to keep up and just keep dragging your units down as they pursue your retreating units. And that also might help them with their devastating flanker trait too. So that doesn't help. Like, it's very hard to escape from a Slaanesh unit's clutches. And yeah. And that means the Fireborn was paying the dear price for that. Also, they were also running away from Screamers, giving the Screamers quite a bit of free value. So yeah, I think what the Fireborn should have done is just find a fight, commit to it, and move on after their enemy is dead. Yeah. 11 Reaver Archers did alright, simply because their opponents are all very light armored units, and their skirmishing fire can accumulate some decent damage over time. And yeah, that's it for this battle. We are moving on to the next one. Oh wait, we do have to download the replays, aren't we? Yeah, give me a second. Oh hi, Contrarian Codex, haven't seen you in a while. We're just gonna get more replays going now. We might be fast forwarding a few replays here or there. Yeah. Depending on how the battle goes. Anyways, once again, General Spotify is gracing us with units that are not meta, like, and also the lack of caster in general. Fuck. Wait, what is his name again? We have Keys as the support for Epidemius. That's what his name is. Yeah, Epidemius. Oh, and no caster too. I don't know why Epidemius, who is supposed to be like a plague bearer, a really good one too. Why he doesn't have access to spell? He needs spell casting. Like, his abilities alone are not enough to justify his legendary lord status, and he does not have any good combat ability as well. As in, like, his raw combat stats are pretty crap. Like, slightly better than your regular caster lord, but not that much better either. It's a 50-50 thing, and also, like, he's slow as fuck. So yeah, he is a very, very bad lord. Like, it's like one of the shittiest lords in the game. At least it kick. At least wait, no. Shit. At least Queek is a decent fighter. Like, nobody uses him, but at least he's a decent fighter. This guy, he is nothing. Like, he has the summon, he has the sense of sickness. That's about it. Oh, and the epidemic outburst, which does shit damage anyway, so we don't really count that either. Yeah, man, that's such a shit lord. But yeah, Spotify. That's a very brave. I mean, I think the name of the replay already spoiled everything for us, but we will still finish watching this. Nothing, he's useless slow. Yeah, exactly. Plague Bearers lined up behind a bunch of Nurglings, so a lot of Plague Bearers too. I guess the only justifiable scenario for bringing Epidemius is you want to bring as many Plague Bearers as possible. So you have just a line of Plague Bearers and a line of oh wait, can you bring double Plague Bearer summon with the Taliman and Nurgle cultists? Oh wait, that might that can possibly be legal. Anyways, Frolickers, Bubonic, and Kaskin, and some Furies. That's about it. That is a very. Oh wait, a Toad Dragon. I forgot about that. I saw the icon in the loading screen, but didn't really pay attention to it because of Epidemius being such a shitlord. Anyways, for the High Elves here, front line of staunch line of spears backed up by 3 archers. These are no regular archers though, Sisters of Avalon, 2 of them combined with talents of Torquelada, regiment of renowned archers with light armor with fire damage and also the flammable effect, adding some damage boost to the other high elf archers, the Sisters of Avalon specifically. Also synergizes with the Fireball, and the high elves are coming in with quite a bit of a fire synergy today, with Teclis also coming in with Kindle Flame, Net of Aventalk, Regrove and whatnot. I can already foresee something get netted and got absolutely deleted by the Sisters of Avalon. Is it Kask? It is Kask. Well, say bye-bye to him, I guess. Silver Helms with shields and Fireball in the back line. And Kask is netted down. Sisters of Avalon and Talents of Torquelada are aiming down. The flammable effect is still on. Kindle Flame is still on. And just one volley deleted half his HP. The Nurglings and Plague Bearers are still marching in, and the only thing that's saving him from being deleted was the stagger animation, helping him dodging a few shots here and there. But yeah, overall, it's just not great. Nurglings are not going to break through those staunch line of spears. These are silver in guard too, so extra staunch, if anything. And Fury's diving into the back line, and they're no match against the combination of Silver Helm and High Elf Cavalry protection, plus the Sisters of Avalon being Snow Slough and melee. Next target for those Sisters of Avalon is Epidemius, who is, well, he is on his toilet seat after all, so extra big hitbox, making him a pretty noticeable target for those Sisters of Avalon. He's trying to push through and drop in those Exalted Plague Bearers, dropping a sense of sickness as well, but how effective might it be? We shall see. Exalted Plague Bearers are struggling to get into action here. I think they need to... Yeah, I think they just didn't have any attacking orders, and Kasich is trying to go after Tackless, getting in some damage. Like, Toad Dragon also in. I think he tried to do a bit of breath attack earlier, which I totally missed out. Doesn't really matter, he is now netted, and Talons of Torquelada and the Sisters will be shooting him point blank with nothing to save him. There's no... Remember this Nurgle build, Spotify decided to not bring any caster in his Nurgle run today. So, no healing for the Toad Dragon, and I don't think this battle has gone long enough for them to charge up the Nurgle army ability. So, no fecundity either. Flock of Doom onto all these Nurgle units as well, draining away their health. Plus, Case being finished off by, yeah, Case and his, little plate beast there. Yeah. Doesn't really matter now. Case is dead, being surrounded by 5-1 earlier. And the staunch line of spear mostly held. Some of them has been crushed by the Exalted Plague Bearers, grinding him down. They haven't used a lot of their Death's Head either, so I don't think most of the damage comes from there. It's probably from the breath attack of the Toad Dragon or something. I don't know. And I don't think it matters, honestly. Now the Sisters of Avalon's backline has been secured after the Furies have died off. And I think that is going to be GG here. We're just going to fast forward. Very gutsy build from Spotify's Nurgle army here, but not bringing a caster, it's a bit too gutsy, especially considering you went like up against two factions with very good casters. But yeah, the Toad Dragon absolutely did not do enough here, getting lit up by those Sisters and Talons of Torquelada. The Plague Bearers did they did not die. They're just very good at just holding and grinding on. But with all the damage dealing units, which is Toad Dragon and Case dead, I don't see how the Nurgle army can go through all the spears and Sisters, while the Sisters raining fire on them and the 5-1 plus Silverhelms charging around. That is going to be really freaking tough. But yeah, GG to both players. A very valiant attempt from Spotify there, but Elmo's High Elf army will burn that to the ground. Well, all that went up in flames, you can say, even. Yeah. Skavens versus Lizardmen next. Milky Way versus Eido. Eido. Eido? Wait, I was thinking about whether this is like a Japanese or something. It sounds like it. But anyway, this time we are... Oh, we are on Ashen, right. I think this is Ashen? I think... Oh wait, no, this might be... Soften. Yeah, I don't entirely remember, but the lighting is still shit, but slightly better than the freaking shadow cast by the mountain. Yeah. Shredder into Skaven is very brave. Shredder is actually very good into Skaven, actually. I'm not sure who wins this, but... Oh, wait. 3 Rattling Guns. Okay, this Shredder is in a bit of trouble. I wouldn't say is in the biggest trouble, because he does have some healing support, and, yeah, I mean, yeah, we shall see, but I think Shredder is a very good pick into Skaven simply because Skavens have literally nothing to stop him. The only way I've seen people beating a Shredder build with Skaven is a Skaven Kite build with Night Runners, I think. Just kite the shit out of the Shredder. And Flinting Ruin a bunch of stuff as well. Yeah. I don't remember... Shredder build... When Skaven was not in this kind of a skirmishy meta right now, as in like the Skavens haven't moved their army into the skirmish meta, when Skaven box was still the mainstream, a Shredder is literally unstoppable by the Skaven, simply because they have nothing to really pin him down. Like, Red Ogres maybe, but that's still not near enough mass to just keep the Shredder at bay. And the Shredder is just free to push through and just stomp on any of these weapons teams at the back line. Not sure how it fares these days, but don't forget the Dread Aversion -8 leadership ability is also really, really good against Skavens, forcing their leadership, which is already flimsy, to be even worse. Anyways, let's look at the army builds on both sides. Skavens, the front line of Clanrat Spears, second line of Railing Guns, triple of them indeed. Mass? Why would I need mass? Against the Shredder. Oh well, actually triple Railing Guns is actually something with decent chance of taking down a Shredder. So let's see. Yeah. Poison Globes on flanks and some Rat Ogres as well. Just scattered around to protect the mass. Protect the back with some mass. And leading the army is a Kick Claw. On the other side of... Oh, there are also some Wolf Rats. But yeah, on the other side of the battlefield for the Lizard Boys, 4 units of Furrow Colt Ones. Actually, 3 units of Furrow Colt Ones plus a couple of Cohen Riders. And a line of Saurus Spears and Red Crested. Leading the army is a High Elf Slan Mage Priest with a Shredder of Lustria and a Saurus Scar Vet. You also have the Plague of Dominion, which grants -8 leadership. So -16 leadership. Let's see if this leadership debuff stacking would do well against the Skaven, or will the Shredder get deleted by the triple Rattling Guns. Slan Mage Priest of High Magic, Banishment, Apotheosis, and Shield of the Old Ones of Quad. So that Shield of the Old Ones would be really key in protecting the Shredder going into those Teeth Breakers and Rattling Guns. Now normally I'd really like the Shred of Lustria build, but there is a lack of tools to disrupt the Rattling Guns on the Lizardmen side. There's no Pterodon or Ripper Dactyl on the field, so there's nothing that can disrupt the Rattling Guns, and they're now able to do that. Just absolutely lit up whatever that gets close. Oh man, the Rattling Guns, once they get into fire, wait, did they get like a slight accuracy improvement, or maybe it's just 3 units of them shooting at one thing and absolutely delete everything? No, don't Apotheosis the Saurus Garvet. Apotheosis the Shredder when it's trying to go in. No. Anyways, yeah. The triple Rattling Guns is absolutely annihilating everything that gets close. Plus a bit of Wrathorb too from a kit. Disrupting their advance and also just annihilating. Yeah. The Shredder needs to go in. They need to go in soon before everything gets cut down. Alright, the Shredder starts taking damage, but because of how much... Oh, yeah, 2 units of Rattling Guns might be a bit much. If there's an Apotheosis like now, that would be great, but Apotheosis has been used earlier onto that, the Saurus Garvet. No, Shredder, why did you stop? Just force path your way through those Rattling Guns. No. Oh yeah, now he's a bit stuck, and now he's down to half health. There's also no Ripper Projectiles and Pterodon Riders to disrupt them. Oh man, if the Apotheosis came in on the Shredder, he would have survived early. Yeah, but it's too late now. He's routed, and the triple Rattling Gun is just gonna shoot him back. And the Coans and Coan Cavalry are not enough to break through immediately. They have flanked through, which is very good of them. But unfortunately, they have been surrounded by Red Ogres, just pinning them down, and the Poison Globes are able to delete them. Oh, cry for my Lizardman corners, but it's nice to see Rattling Guns doing good for once. That feels kind of too much leadership debuff into the Skavens. Yeah, cry for your lizards, but looks like it's just gonna chase down the Shredder. Like against the Skaven box build like this, I remember there used to be a time where Shredder is actually a very meta thing to do. One way, I mean, let's just go through the army build first. Army performances first. The Shredder got shredded instead by all those Rattling Guns. But yeah, and the Poison Globes were able to secure the flanks with the Red Ogres blocking those Code 1 units, stopping them from breaking into the rear. But yeah, they used to be like a really really meta anti-Skaven Lizardmen build. Let me just quickly show it. I don't have it saved, but the idea is Shred of Lustria, Slam Rage, Priest of Life. With you don't need life, boom. You just need regrowth. Let me just check. Skaven, does railing guns have magic damage? No, not that. Yeah, they don't have magic damage. Which is weird considering how they literally fire glowing freaking ammo. With Warpstone, which has like literally warp energy and that shit. So technically you can go Flesh to Stone. I mean, you definitely want the other spells here as well. Bloodstretch Witch can be good. So you have 4 Projectile Riders. Almost no infantry. Honestly, you don't really need infantry. I don't remember if it's skink skirmishers or just regular skinks, but something like that. You probably don't even need that. So what happens is you have those projectile riders dropping in to disrupt the enemy weapons teams while the shredder charges in. And once the shredder is in the middle of the enemy box, there's very little the Skavens can do against them, as the shredder will just tramples everything in its path. What happened to the Lizardmen player here is that they were very hesitant in sending in the shredder, and also does not have anything to overcome the enemy, to disrupt the enemy shooters. And the three Rattling guns were able to just keep those full damage on and absolutely light up everything that comes close to the formation. And I'm surprised that they actually deleted the Scar Vet. Did their accuracy got a buff? I wonder. Because if there's a regrowth on the Shredder could very well have moved into the... very well have walked into the Skaven formation with over half health intact. And at that point, the Rattling guns were just gonna get trampled. But looks like this time the lack of flying units really bite the Lizardmen in the back there, allowing those Skavens to absolutely shoot down the Shredder. But yeah, that was like over a year. That was like a year's old. Lizardmen meta build. Things might very well be very different these days, but anyways. Next up, we have a Vampire Counts versus Demons of Chaos battle here. Sandfishy versus Enda the Lion. Sandfishy going with a line of a very similar build, but this time bring Zarevik the Feathered Prince with a couple missile support as well. Fused missile support, Blue Horrors, 2 of them, and also the Sour Guts. Wait, no, are these Chromatic Abominations? Hold on. Oh yeah, the Sour Guts. Yeah, front line of Nurglings, a sky full of Furies and Screamers on the far side. There are also some Fiends of Slanesh as a very, very good mobility. On the other side, for those Vampire Counts, a line of zombies and just a whole lot of zombies and skeleton spears on the flanks at the back as well. Leading the army is a Von Kostheim Vampire Lord, ready for some air fight. Using obviously the Storm of the Night ability on the Vampire Lord. There are also some Var guys on the field, plus Felbats. Yeah, the Vampire accounts are really ready to take on some air game today. Anyways, the zombies are clashing into Nurglings. Oh, there are some Crypt Horrors too. And don't forget the Mortis engine ready to drain down the enemy blobs if there's any. Now, the Zarevik the Feathered Prince has overextended a little bit. And while the Screamers trying to reinforce him, but will be hit by a Storm of the Night, getting slowed down. Oh, a little bit of a Gaze of Fate. Oh, that is a lot of effects and very flashy right now. Let's slow down a bit so that we don't we have a better idea of what the fuck's going on in this cluster fuck. Yeah. Gaze of Fate locking down one Vargeist unit, allowing some Furies to just charge them from behind, but at the same time they put themselves into the area of effect of the Storm of the Night, so they're starting to take damage from that direct damage Storm spell. At the same time, the Undead are not affected by the Storm of the Night. Screamers, although they're taking damage and also being charged by a bunch of Vargeist. One of the Vargeist that are being charged is taking quite a bit of damage, and also the Screamers having the anti-large can be useful in fighting against the Vargeist, punching back hard. And seems like everyone is committing to the air fight while the ground fight is... Oh wait, oh wait, Von Karstein Vampire Lord, what are you doing on the other side of the fight? You should be here helping your minions against all those Screamers and Furies, because they are not winning this without your help, even with the Storm of the Night. And also the Crypt Horrors, unfortunately not a great unit into this matchup due to the fact that Blue Horrors with their fire damage and Pink Horrors as well can absolutely delete them with a few volleys of firepower. At least they do have the Balefire Corpse God, granting them that fire resistance to mitigate the fire weakness of the regeneration trait, but that matters little here. There was enough firepower to just put them into crumbling territory. A little bit of healing for those Var guys. They're still grinding it out, but I think they might have taken the worst end of this engagement. They killed one Screamer, about to kill the well, they killed one Screamer, killed some Furies as well, but most of them have taken substantial damage, and the Corn Furies are coming in, who has silver chevrons, and finish off one Vargeist. The other three, one of them is also on the verge of death. Two others still very healthy, but Von Karstein Vampire Lord is coming in. He is being silenced by Glean Magic for now, and the Mortis Engine is sitting back and just staying a little too idly. He needs to move in and start draining some other units. And I'm not sure what the Von Karstein Lord is doing here, but he is not doing enough for sure. As more and more Vargeist is going down, another unit of Vargeist went down. So there's only one Vargeist unit that is still very tattered. That is already very tattered on the field. Oh, finally, some Felbats are coming in to support, but I think that's too little too late. If anything, they should have went in at the first engagement. Everyone should have gone all in on that to see who comes out on top with the air fight. Because now the Demons of Chaos have the air supremacy, dominating the air game, and the Von Karstein Vampire Lord has no hope to take on this air force of Screamer, Furies, and the Zerifik, the Vedek Prince himself. So all he has to rely on are these zombie chaff to protect the Mortis Engine and drain down everything nearby, which, well, the Chaos Fury somehow wandered into the AoE effect and getting drained down a bit. Oh, a little bit of waste of the ability. Storm of the Night onto a mere Fury unit. That was, unfortunately, I don't think that's the best use of the ability. You should have dumped it on something more significant, like while you want to chase after Dervik and lock him down. But anyways, at least that's still damage being done to those Furies here. And looks like we are having a bit of a blue fire kite from Zerifik here to slowly chip away out of the Mortis Engine. At least the blue horrors are out of ammo, so the pink horrors, the Sour Guts, are the only thing that's still threatening the Mortis Engine, outside of the blue fire spams, of course. And here comes some Flock of Dooms from the Von Karstein Vampire Lord to drain down the enemy demonic units, and as well as Invocation of the Hack to get some killing done as well, keeping those Crypt Horrors alive despite how much damage they have taken. Oh, the Fiends of Slaanesh, they are a tough unit to deal with right now. They're on the field, and there is not much the Vampire Counts can do about them, other than try to run away and a little bit of zombie summon, which I think it might have been a waste. Probably trying to screen off the enemy pursuers, but right now, he probably better to just drop those zombies onto the Sour Guts to keep them from firing, because they still have more than enough firepower to drag down the Mortis Engine if they're not stopped. And Von Karstein Vampire Lord still being silenced. Glean Magic coming in really handy here, draining down the magic reserves as well and power recharge. So very good counter spell against the Vampire Counts in general, denying them from more healing spells and whatnot. So I think that is going to be a win for the Demons of Chaos here, as the Vampire Counts are just constantly being denied from magic casting with the Glean Magic, and the ground force is getting grind down by the sheer amount of demons still on the field, and the Sour Guts quickly whittling down the Mortis Engine with their Warp Flames, leaving only the Von Karstein Vampire Lord to try and carry the game, but I don't think he has what it takes to bring this game back. Now the ground force of the Vampire Counts are completely wiped out. The Sour Guts are free to aim down the Von Karstein Vampire Lord, with the Bolt of Change chipping away his HP as well. GG. But yeah, the Fiends, they didn't really do that much over the course of battle. The Sour Guts carried hard for sure. And Zerifik had to take the melee fight against the Von Karstein Vampire Lord in the end. his demonic units have mostly been worn down throughout the fights, but those Furies got so much damage, charging into the rear charging and flank charging those Var guys. Getting so much work done. Mortis Engine did well, just not quite enough to carry the game today. Being targeted heavily by those Sour Guts is definitely not a comfortable position for the Mortis Engine to be in, being rather fragile themselves. So yeah, the Furies carried the game today, and drag down so many of those Var guys on the field. And that means and after the Var guys are down, the Von Karstein Vampire Lord is completely on the defense. Yeah, on the back foot. Yeah, on the back foot. In terms of aerial presence. And Zarevik plus the Screamers plus the Furies are able to just put the pressure onto Von Karstein Vampire Lord, forcing him to just constantly run away instead of taking the fights. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of breath attacks from the Von Karstein Vampire Lord. Maybe I've missed them, but the Sour Guts is definitely a good target to breath attack on. Because if you try to kill it in melee, the explosion will kill your units instead. But yeah. Very nicely played by both players, and I think we're moving on to the next round of replays, I think. Yeah, I think that's the case here. Alright. We might have some cool Blood Knight action according to what I've seen in the chat. Hold on, let me just load up those download files first. Alrighty, more battles in Skavens versus High Elves. Let's see what happens here. Once again, we're seeing Milky Way going with more Rattling Guns. A very brave attempt. I think Rattling Guns have never been the meta ever since it came out, but can Milky Way make it work? Can those Rattling Guns become a useful unit for the Skavens again? We shall see. Obviously, in the previous battle, the Rattling Guns have proven their value by deleting the Shredder with 3 of them, and also deleting a whole lot of other units as well. Infantry and Cavalry alike. Well, Cavalry as in one mounted hero, the Sword of Scarvet. Yeah, other than that... wait, no. That's Scarvet? Yeah, that's the that's the Scarvet. That's the hero, right? Yeah, anyways, for the Skavens, a line of Claret Spears in the front, and backed up by the weapons teams, Poison Wing Globes and Rattling Guns. 2 of them this time, since there's less monsters to deal with, but still very excited to see what they can do on the field. Rat Ogres at the back there, supported by a ton of Skaven Slave Slingers, just cheap chaff missile units that can maybe counter skirmish enemy cavalry. A Kid Claw leading the army once again with Flensing Ruin. Flensing Ruin. Yeah. Howling Warp Gale, Storm Demon, Unlimited Power, and Brass Orb on the other side of the battle. Oh wait, no, there's no Wolf Rats. Never mind. On the other side of the battlefield for the High Elves, Staunch Line of Spear. Once again, I don't know. It's Staunch Line of Spear normally is good, but a single Avalanche Mortar would wipe this whole front line out. So I don't know. And also they're very fragile against Poison Globe. So I honestly don't encourage bringing spears against the Skavens. But anyways, we do have some War Lions, and I do like seeing them once in a while. They are theoretically good against... Oh wait, why am I staring down the Lions? But yep. Theoretically, they're good against Skaven simply because they are anti-infantry, anti-armor, making them excellent units to try and chase down those armored weapons teams. But the problem is, can they get into the enemy formation? Can they squeeze through the enemy defenses and disrupt those weapons teams? We shall see. And on the far side, there's some Silver Helms providing some flanking mobility, plus some more Illyrian Reaver Archers all the way on the other side of the battlefield at the corner of the map, ready to ambush those Skavens from behind. Anyways, let the battle begin. Skip the marching phase here, as neither side have any long-range artillery. And we're just gonna wait for both sides positioning their troops into a optimal position. Now the Rattling guns are firing, but this time seems like they are struggling a lot more. Partly because the silver shields on all these spears, helping them absorb roughly half of the fire, and more importantly, some of the shots are just not that accurate in general. Anyways, Eltharion leading this Hive army, but locked down by Flensing Rune. Unfortunately, none of those Rattling guns are in range, and the Poison Wing Globes are... No, they're not shooting... Oh wait, now here comes the Rattling guns. Trying to fire in, and they're doing some okay damage, knocking a quarter of HP from Eltharion. But the Poison Wing needs to be shooting at the enemy infantry and cav, as the Silver Helms are crashing in and piling onto those Skaven Slave Slingers. Of course, the Poison Winds, once they're now shooting into the cavalry formation, they can do some really good damage, but Silver Helms are seeing a gap in the enemy defenses and will be piling onto one of the Poison Wing Globes. There is no other Poison Wing Globes in the vicinity, so these Silver Helms will be unthreatened for now. On the other side, these Silver Helms get absolutely deleted, and Eltharion the Grim getting placed a little too far away from the Rattling guns. They're not actually... he's not actually eating that much damage with that Howling Warp Gale plus Rattling Fire. Plus, he has Soul Quench, so he did some good damage to the Rattling guns for sure. I think that's what... I suspect that's what happened. I didn't really see it, but I don't see anything else that can actually damage those Rattling guns that fast, that soon. So, Flensing Rune on to Eltharion. But Silver Helms and Eltharion jumping onto the Poison Wing Globe, threatening to finish them off. So Red Ogres needs to come over and screen off the enemy cavalry, but at least the Silver Helms over here has been killed off by the Poison Winds. There's only one Poison Wind online right now. The others are all blocked in melee combat. Ooh, the bombardment ability from Eltharion, but not a lot of whole units around him, so not a whole lot of damage from that bombardment. Skavens are peeling off the enemy advance pretty well. Like, the Silver Helms are getting some work done against the Poison Wing Globes, but they're also being pushed off pretty hard. Oh, I totally missed that. Another Howling Warp Gale locking down Eltharion, and the Rattling guns are doing work. Point blank firing into Eltharion, and Eltharion has no way to escape that. Absolutely getting executed at point blank range from half health to none in a matter of seconds. And there goes the High Elf leadership, and looks like the High Elves are paying a dear, dear price. Losing their leadership and their only source of terror is also very painful here. Those Illyrian Reaver archers definitely could have been activated earlier to jump into melee and disrupt the weapons teams, but there are also red ogres in the vicinity to screen them off, so it's hard to say whether they will be useful. They can effectively shut down Rattling guns by then, but I definitely underestimated the Rattling guns. Seems like they can actually work decently today, and not only killed the Shredder, but also killed Eltharion the Grim. Yeah, Eltharion got executed point blank by those Rattling guns. Milky Way making the firepower of Rattling guns well known today. Hey, maybe I should play that on my next Wednesday Faction Wars, just to see what the Rattling guns can do. Anyways, looks like the Rattling guns might be making a comeback in multiplayer. Maybe. We need more testing over the foreseeable future, just to see whether they can do good. Rattling's doing very well indeed. The Rattling guns MVP today, killing Eltharion. Poison Winds did well as usual, just deleting infantry and cavalry wherever they put their eyes on. Yeah, doing very well indeed, and getting a whole lot of damage done, carrying the day. And also the Red Ogres screening very well. Overall, the missile core isn't exactly expensive on the Skaven side, which, well, the Poison Winds are only 550, and Rattling guns are 700 something, I think, or 800, I forgot, but roughly around that price range. So it's like a mid-range missile unit, and that means the Skavens have enough funds remaining to bring a full 20 stack army like that, giving them enough protection at the back line, using the 4 Red Ogres to block the path of all the cavalry and protect those Rattling guns at the back line. Very nice stuff from Milky Way. I think I will try Skavens next week actually, and see what happens. Yeah. Now you're making me wanting to play Rattling guns. Alright. But yeah, that's gonna be something for later. We might see more Rattling guns in the future, as in later today, but let's go through all the other replays first. Iaido coming in with Garok. Supported by a Skink Priest of Beast with a Flock of Doom, I think, and then Skink Quad, 2 Red Crested, and 2 Saurus Warrior with Spears, 2 Saurus Warrior regular ones, 2 Cold One Riders, regular ones, and slow down a bit. Salamander Hunting Pack, as well as there's a Bastillodon somewhere. Yep, there we go. There he is. Throw Bastillodon, and I think that's about it. Oh wait, no, there's also the Colossodon Hunters. Gorok and Saurus Warriors, you love to see it. Unfortunately, neither of them are meta, and their performance are kind of lacking in multiplayer. Anyways, on the other side, we have a couple Blood Knights with lances, with a whole line of zombie chaff plus spears, skeleton spears in the front lines. Corpse Gods with Unholy Lodestone, but they do have to be careful. The Umbral Tide is on the field. Not that they can see it though, because Umbral Tide do have stock. Vargeist in Disguise plus Manfred von Carstein leading the army. That's it for the army builds. Let's fast forward a bit. No skirmishing once again. Neither have a long-range artillery firepower. So the undead are positioning, trying to get into a good spot. Oh wait, there's a regular Salamander Hunting Pack as well. They probably should have started firing at Manfred, but Manfred do have a Fate of Buna, and we'll try to delete those. Yeah, delete those Salamander Hunting Pack straight up. Oh, but even with only a single volley, they did some insane damage to those Vargeist. Vargeist is just so fragile. I simply, my lack of skill micros simply never makes them work. But anyways, a Fate of Buna plus a charge from the Blood Knights will quickly finish off the Salamander Hunting Packs. There's nothing left to save them. And Blood Knights charging into Saurus Spears, that might be a big mistake. Vargeist diving onto the Koan Riders and getting the charge, really helping them in the fight there. And now the Koan Riders are the next target of the Blood Knights. The Vargeist might have been severely damaged by the Salamander Hunting Pack, but they have the Vampire Counts have managed to crush it. And then the Vargeist can now chase off routed units and slowly regenerate with the hunger. Zombies and zombies and Crypt Horrors managed to crush those poor Skink Cohorts, as the Salamander Hunting Packs are not in position to provide any frontline fire support. Instead, they are gonna get chased down by Blood Knights and Vargeist. The Salamander Hunting Packs are placed too far away from the main formation, and there are no assets nearby to protect them, giving the Vampire Counts a very clean opening, using their multiple mobility units to just swarm those flank units. All the expensive investment in the Saurus front line is quite hefty, and it's not exactly paying off. They're killing a lot of units, but they're only killing zombie chaff, and that's not consequential at all. The Vampire Counts are more than happy to just sacrifice those undead, just to buy more time for the mobility to clean up the flanks here. As you can see, another Skink Horde dead, and both Salamander Hunting Packs are done for, with no Koan Cavalry, no Koan Spear Riders to protect the backline, really coming in as a painful weakness for the Lizardmen army so far. And the Blood Knights are definitely getting some good work done. Wait, since when Manfred is so weak? He's juicing himself up with Invocation of the Hack, but the Colossodon Hunters have been doing a lot of work, just constantly staying on the trail against Manfred, trying to get rid of him. I mean, they have been doing really well in that regard, dropping the balance of power, keeping the balance of power fairly even by performing that Lord Snipe, but Manfred is still running, and there are some Crypt Horrors ready to intercept. Oh, there's a zombie summon. Will it bog down the projectiles? Not quite so. They managed to push through, but the infantry Saurus are still holding with Gorok and the Bastillodon doing just fine. The problem is, can they take out Manfred? I honestly don't know. Things are looking quite finicky over here so far. With Projectile Riders, the Colossodon Hunters are trying their hardest to carry 3,000 gold worth of damage value, but the priority right now is really kill off Manfred. They probably want to get those Colossodon Hunters out of there. Let the Saurus take care of the enemy infantry. Ooh, there's still a whole very healthy Blood Knight lying around, ready to do some rear charge on those Lizardmen. At least, oh, they're committing into a rear charge, but at the same time opening them up to another rear charge from those Saurus Spears. And now they're completely surrounded. They're unable to get out of the surround. But if those Saurus Warriors break right now, they should be able to get out just fine. Oh, they can even try to force path out of the opening too. Yeah. Manfred is trying to just bully some infantry, but Gorok is coming in. Manfred is... yeah, he has more than enough speed and to get out of there, honestly. And oh no, the Colossodon Hunters, they are being bogged down by an overwhelming numbers of monsters getting dragged down in the melee fight here. They're very blast cannony, so if they're surrounded like that with by Crypt Horrors and Vargeist, they can't really survive that. And that means Manfred is free to roam the world now. Nothing really to pressure him anymore, and free to just keep dropping those Invocation of the Hag and heal his own troops, keeping his troops alive and all that. And Balance of Fire is shifting more and more in the Undead's favor, noticing that all the Lizardmen damage output units, especially the 2 Salamanders, are dead. Colossodon Hunters made a valiant attempt to bring it back, but unfortunately, a little bit distracted in the late game. They're trying to fight other cavalry and monsters instead of trying to commit and finish off Manfred. That might have been... that is a very big opportunity for them to bring back the game, but they were not able to seize that chance, allowing Vampire Counts to stabilize the situation and allowing the Blood Knights to drag down the monsters and also the Crypt Horrors too, with Vargeist bringing down, taking down the Colossodon Hunter with the sheer numbers and taking the win with nothing else from the Lizardmen side to carry the day. You can see the Salamander Hunting Pack, if they get even a single volley out at the Vargeist, it would do some insane damage. If they can get a couple more volleys, they would delete whole units of Vargeist and Crypt Horrors, but and even Manfred, if they get a good opportunity. But unfortunately, there's just not enough assets around to protect them from all the Vargeist, Blood Knights, and whatnot. So they are relatively short-lived in this battle. Yeah, probably. I think the most I've seen with Salamander Hunting Pack is like, I feel like, yeah. First of all, you definitely don't need the Feral Bastillodon. It doesn't really serve anything in this battle. It might be better just skip the Skink Priest and Gorok and just bring a Slam Mage Priest even. Yeah, but definitely not this. I want to say don't bring the Saurus Warriors, but they have been doing okay, just to grind through the enemy chaff and take down monsters and whatnot. Maybe just bring the Saurus Spears. Don't bring the Railosaurus. Yeah, definitely need some Coin Spear Riders to protect those Salamander Hunting Packs though. Yeah, Gorok, very nice to see Gorok once in a while. He's not exactly a Meta Lord and doesn't really have the most amazing performance anywhere, but it's still nice to see him popping up once in a while. Alright, next up we have Nurgle versus Demons of Chaos. Two demonic army. Once again, General Spotify not bringing any caster in. Triple Forsaken and some very elite rest of the units here. The Demon Spill, Regiment of Renown, Nurgle Forsaken. We have let's see, we have the Rotting Riders and the Barons of the Walk once again. Leading the army is a Chaos Lord of Nurgle with 2 Exalted Hero of Nurgle being... Oh, that's a very tough character core. No healing though, so gonna be less tough than a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with a Crown of Everlasting Conquest, the passive healing item. On the other side, for the Demons of Chaos army, they have a line of Nurgling supported by some firepower from the Pink Horrors, one of them the Sour Guts, and also 1 Soul Grinder of Tinge, ready to fire from afar. But perhaps the Forsaken can punch down those rather chaffy Demons of Chaos units. We shall see. In the skies, Shrieking Sky Rays, Chaos Furies, and more importantly, the Change Bringers. Oh no, the Nurgle army did not bring any long-range or anti-air components in their army. I think I can see where this battle is going. The Change Bringers, if left unchecked, they can wreak some absolute havoc among enemy lines, and there is literally nothing to keep them in check over here. We shall see what happens, but I don't like this for the Nurgle army. They're just, the Change Bringers are moving into position, aiming down onto the Demon Spill, and they fire. And 1/4 of the unit gone, just like that. Damn. And also, I think that ability is a bit wasted because the demon spill was a bit scattered, and also the volley right now also didn't do a whole lot. Probably did more friendly fire to the Frolickers Bubonic, if anything. But yeah, anyways, the Nurglings will hold for a little bit. They're kind of like a speed bump. While the rest of the Demons of Chaos army are trying their best to whittle down those demonic, Forsaken rush. And the Demon Spill already wavering, and recharge from the Fury will finish them off and send them into routing. Oh, a very nice, quite a nice dodging from the Rotting Riders here. Just maneuvering behind the house and allowing it to block a few shots from that blue fire of Tinge. The character is still YOLOing deep into enemy lines, silencing the Sour Guts there, and allowing the Barons of the Box to charge in and start pummeling those Sour Guts in melee, bringing down the Furies as well. So that's probably the best bet for the Nurgle army to bring this victory home, is to utilize their very elite cavalry here, which the Demons of Chaos didn't really have a lot of tools to counteract other than the Changebringers. But remember, the Changebringers have very limited ammo, and they need to make those shots count. They kill a bunch of Forsaken, but only 4 volleys, still 1 Barons of the Box and 1 Rotting Riders on the field. And they need to make those shots count. They are making it count for now, leaving a dent on the balance of Barons of the Borg's HP. But will it be enough? We shall see. Well, once again, another shot onto the Forsaken. They're now down to 3 volleys? Or maybe 2.5? I don't know if that's going to be enough here. Another volley, but into a very scattered unit of Rotting Riders. But at least the Furies and the Nurglings and the Soul Grinder as well, plus Zarific. Oh, except a lot of chain, that is. They are doing some pretty good damage against the Rotting Riders. Down to less than half health now, but at the same time the Changebringers are doing some friendly fire. Oh no! One last volley and they wasted it on the Forsaken. Did they do enough? They earned back their value, but did they do enough? We shall see. As they no longer have any volleys left. Yeah, they have to go into melee, and we all know that they're absolutely shit in melee. So, yeah, the missiles of the Pink Horrors were not quite able to get all their damage done, as the Nurglings really didn't hold that long in the front line. And at the same time, the single entity spam from Nurgle, allowing them to circumvent the enemy frontline defenses, just send those single entities straight into the Pink Horrors, silencing their firepower and also all their mobility, circling around the Nurgling defenses, and just beat down the poor Soul Grinder as well. The Soul Grinder didn't get their opportunity to fire too many shots. And the Nurgle going in, no spell, no healing, and still managed to get this win. Exploiting the weakness of the Demons of Chaos army, investing too much into the missiles and not enough into mobility. And that means there's really not much to stop the Rotting Riders and Barons of the Bog, who just walk around the enemy infantry front line and absolutely wreak havoc among the enemy backline. They're shutting down the Soul Grinder, who also got a lot of... Oh no. I almost feel they probably just spend those extra gold onto the chevrons because they don't have enough gold to buy another unit. Some fiends would have been very useful here, though, just to stop the or seekers maybe, just to stop the enemy cavalry from rampaging through that back line. And yeah, I like the use of the exalted heroes though, just using them as like a disruption on the enemy missiles. And the Chainbringers tried their best, but wasted a little too many shots on the Forsaken. Didn't do enough damage against the key units here, the Rotting Riders and Barons of the Bog, to turn the battle around. And the Exalted Lord of Change, once he's dragged down into melee, he is pretty much hopeless in the middle of a bunch of Rotting Riders who have anti-large armor piercing and melee, very elite melee stats. Let me cook. You did cook with this build. I'll give you that. Yeah, that was a build that definitely cooked for sure. Yeah. Like if you could have changed a Chaos Lord of Nurgle into a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, that would have been even better. But I know you have your principles today. You're not bringing a caster, so there's that. Why is this? Wait, did I accidentally downloaded a domination game? I'm pretty sure that's not what I'm supposed to cast right now. Give me a second. I might have... Oh, that's probably... That's from the different... Yeah, that's probably from a different... Let me just delete that. That's from the other tourney, the Domination tourney, casted by Mav. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, yeah, that's for the other tourney. There's no caster for that tourney though. Unfortunately I don't generally do Domination battles, so I'll stick to Conquest. And if I do the other tourney as well, I just simply don't have the time to do everything. So yeah, we'll stick to Conquest today. I just accidentally picked up the Domination battles from the Discord channel. Oh, seems like the group stage is done. We're moving on to the final stage soon. Let me just quickly download all the replays that we still have, and then we can move on to round. Hold on. We can then move on to round. Well, final stage. Let me just pick up all the round 4 and 5 replays, if there are any. Yeah, I don't think I picked up everything, but I think that's it. That's fine. Wait, I just need... Oh wait, I do need to move them. Into the replay file folder. Alright. We do have some replays here, but we might be moving on to the final stage first. Hold on, sorry, I'm just quickly messaging the players here. Wait, who's... Oh wait, Ariel is Eido, which I still can't find them. Okay, I'm just gonna ask the people in semifinals whether they have a live spectating spot, which I can jump in and cast it. But yeah, it looks like we have some. We have one. I do have to load up the screen blocker first, so give me a second. Yeah, cool. We got the screen blocker. Not host battle, join with code. And a spectate. Alright, we're jumping in to do some spectating right now with the live battles. Oh, Sesame Elmo? Oh, okay. Oh, that's Sesame Elmo. Okay. Yeah, alright. Alright, Elmo is fighting Ender the Lion here. Vampire Counts versus High Elves. Let's see what they will be bringing to the battlefield. A very common tactic before is just to bring a Phoenix Guard box. And the Vampire Counts would have a really hard time dealing with that. But I don't know. Maybe El will have a different line of thought. We shall see. Meanwhile, we'll have to wait a bit to see what units do we bring to the battlefield. Oh, it looks like Ender the Lion is ready with his army build already. So we're just waiting for Elmo. Alright, looks like both armies are almost ready. We should be able to go in soon. And yeah, I can't really talk about what they're bringing out because no spoilers, but yeah. We should be able to go in soon. Just some final adjustments and we're good. Alright, looks like Sesame Elmo is ready. Let me just turn off the screen blocker and we're in. Manfred von Carstein once again from Ender the Lion with... Oh wait, no, that's not... Yeah, that's Ender the Lion, never mind. Yeah. Ender the Lion here, going with Manfred once again on a zombie dragon front line of zombies with skeleton spears. And we are seeing some Blood Knights with lances on the flanks, providing that anti-large very good charge. Plus a couple unholy lodestone on the field. Oh, they're gonna get deleted so hard by those Avalon Sisters of Avalon. Oh, yeah. On the other side, we have Tacklers leading the army with a very, very threatening combo of Net of Amentok plus Sisters of Avalon and Talons of Torquelada combo. So a lot of fire damage, and yeah, this is gonna be scary. The vampire counts will have to be very, very careful when approaching the High Elves formation. Looks like they're concentrating a good chunk of their forces in the forest. That is a wise choice, just using that vegetation to help them shield them away from the enemy firepower. Oh wait, there are some Var guys on the vampire count side as well. Anyways, for the rest of the High Elf army here, other than the staunch line of spears, there's also the Fireborn protecting the backline with their excellent anti-large armor piercing melee fighting power, plus some Illyrian Reavers providing that light and cheap mobility. Silverhelms as well. And yeah, that's most of the army done here. A lot of this High Elf build hinges on whether they can get a good net and delete one very specific thing on yeah, like one expensive unit from the Vampire Count's roster. Like for example, if Manfred stray a little too close to the High Elf formation, he would just get locked down by the net and then deleted outright by all the Sisters of Avalon, Talons of Torquelada, etc, etc. Or if a Blood Knight get caught, then that's basically unit gone as well. Even if their armor and missile resistance can give them a tiny bit of respite. But I don't think it matters against two whole units of Sisters of Avalon, plus all the fire weakness coming in from the Kindle Flame and Flammable of the Talons of Torquelada. Now we shall see what happens here. We shall see. Both armies are marching. There's a missile attack. Oh, nasty. Case of Nagash taking a good chunk of HP from these Talons of Torquelada, but their main purpose really isn't to do damage themselves. It's to apply that flammable effect to help the sisters do damage instead. And Manfred von Carstein needs to stay in the skies here.
An enemy wizard is casting.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, excuse me for a second. Alright, cool. Well, yeah, you can see the corpse cut is immediately deleted. Oh no, Manfred, what are you doing? You're getting too close. Oh no, he's getting netted. He's gonna get net. Oh, he's getting netted. And the sisters are firing in. 3 whole units of archers are able to get the reach onto Manfred. A slight lapse in micro. And he still have 10 seconds more standing in front of these sisters of Avalon. Oh, that is a fatal mistake on the Manfred side. Oh no. Finally, the Var guys are in position, jumping down on the sisters of Avalon. but the damage has already been done. Can Manfred recover from this? We shall see. At least the Blood Knights and the Vargheists are all jumping in and just trying to do as much of damage as possible. And the Blood Knights are doing really good work against the Elaren Reavers, but the Vargheists not so much. Only putting a minor dent on the Sisters of Avalon, and the Fireborn are here to pick them up. And the Vargheists have to pull back over here as they are facing the wrath of all those Sisters of Avalon. Manfred, what are you doing? Stay the oh yeah. Just stay away for a bit now. Maybe it's worth trying to get a breath attack, or he's just gonna go and do another Gaze in the Gash. This time onto the enemy front line, whittling the enemy spears, but the Sisters of Avalon core is still left mostly intact, and the Blood Knights are they did not have the charge order on the Fireborn here. Yeah, and the Fireborn got the charge on the Blood Knights, plus Silverhelms and the Elaren Reavers collapse. Only Silverhelms, no Elaren Reavers. Silverhelms collapsing on them, and the Fireborn are having a field day today. Just wiping out all those Vargheists, Blood Knights, wherever they go. Now, the Vargheists over here are being pinned down by the net of Amentok. Well, at least the Breath Attack is finally coming in. Doing some decent damage. The Sisters of Avalon are still pretty much intact, though. And especially Fireborn. Fireborn might have been a better target, considering how clumped up they were. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, because you want to kill the Sisters as well, to do as much damage as possible from afar, but yeah, the Fireborn doing so much work cleaning up Vargheists, cleaning up Blood Knights, cleaning up whatever's in the back line, and protecting the Sisters of Avalon and Talons of Torgaleda. The zombies and skeletons are still grinding, but how long can they grind through all those spears? They are not, the undead are not making a whole lot of progress at the back line there. They're doing some work against the Sisters, but the Fireborn is just keeping everything secured. They're killing everything that's coming to the back line here. And the Sisters, both of them are still alive. Damaged, but still alive. And they're now turning around to fire at Manfred, who is definitely still low on HP. He has not been able to get any melee action going. So he did not get to use his sort of unholy power at all. And the Blood Knights at the back are just running the hell away from the Fireborn, who got a Vigor Refresh, so they're back to their back to some pretty good speed from the regrowth ability. While the Blood Knights, who are already slower originally than the Fireborn, and they're also drained now, getting even more speed reduction, and they're just getting picked off by the Fireborn. That is a very rough matchup for the Undead for sure. But yeah, a very big mistake coming in from the early game there, allowing Manfred to just take a huge chunk of damage from the net of Amentok and Sisters of Avalon. I made the literal same mistake in the Wednesday faction wars I did 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, two and a half weeks ago, and saw my Von Karstein Vampire Lord getting netted down and deleted by the Umbral Tide. So I'm not in a position to just commentate on too much in terms of micro skills, but yeah. Objectively, that was a very painful mistake that the Vampire Counts could have avoided, but unfortunately that was not the case here, and they did pay the ultimate price. Manfred was not able to perform to his full potential, while the backline here mostly got cleaned up by those Fireborn getting some really solid damage over the course of battle, and Sisters of Avalon as well, getting some solid damage done with a combination of now Amentok, Kindle Flame, and the flammable effect from the Talons of Torgaleda, getting some really solid damage done, and getting a very dominant victory with the High Elf army here. So congrats to Sesame Elmo. He is advancing to the finals in this Saturday new player Swiss Conquest Faction Wars. Hello and the Lion. That was a very good run. We've seen some pretty good performance in the earlier games with the Blood Knights for sure. And also the Cryptoris did surprisingly decent in certain situations. But yeah, we might be moving on back to replays for a bit until the finalists are out, because Prime and Spotify are still duking it out, so I think we're not gonna play this just yet. Because this is gonna be a hell of a grind, and I'm not ready for a 15-minute grind. I wonder if their lobby is still open. Yep, no, the game is already ongoing. We can't even find the lobby now. Alright, so yeah, let's see which replay is the shortest. Which we can squeeze in before the actual finals of today's event. Nurgle versus Reds, that's the shortest one. Okay, let's go. Alright, Nurgle here coming in with 4 Forsaken actually. The 4th one, the Demon Spear, 2 Nurgle Knights with Lances, and 3 Furies. Leading the army is a Chaos Lord of Nurgle plus Cakes the Befouled, and 1 Frolickers Bubonic. Yep, that is it. A really rushy army, going all in on that melee rush with no spell support whatsoever, as Spotify has always been doing. Wait, he went into semifinals with no Nurgle spell support? What the fuck? What the fuck? Anyways, yeah, we shall see what happens here, because we don't know if he actually won or lost this battle. Front line of Claret Spears, and a second line, this time once again, bringing in those Rattling Guns. Triple of them, in fact, with 2 Poisoning Globes and some Skaven Slave Slingers and Night Runners on the flanks. At the back there, more Skaven Slave Slingers with Red Ogres, providing that mass and anti-armor capability. Plus 1 single help of Abomination, being a terror source, plus really nice anti-large monster at least. Leading the army is, whoa, Queen Cattaker. Now we're seeing a lot of niche Skaven components on the field. Wait, no caster on the Skaven side as well. So both sides deciding to go all in on the no caster attempt. Let's see what happens here. I guess since Spotify isn't bringing caster. Wait, who was playing Skaven again? Sorry. Just quickly checking the players. Who's playing Skaven again? Oh, Milky Way. Yeah, right. Milky Way. Yeah, Milky Way decided to just make things fair and not bringing a caster as well. I don't know how would the Climats fare, but oh no, they don't. The Rattling Guns don't have a line of sight. They're struggling to get an aim onto the enemy target here. And the Forsaken managed to get into the range and start punching down Climate Spears with nothing to really distract them. Furies are diving the back line as well. The Teeth Breaker is only having 70 armor, does not have enough protection against the Furies' attack. So they are quickly falling to the Furies' disruption. And the Rattling Guns, unfortunately, the lack of line of sight. The line of sight issue is the end of the Rattling Guns for sure. Queen Cattaker trying to go and challenge the Chaos Lord of Nurgle, but he turned on every single bit of his buffs on his on the Lord. Also maybe getting a charge on Queen Cattaker. So he's getting some really good damage done with a total of 50% armor piercing weapon damage boost and a little bit of a base weapon damage boost too. Stand your ground trying to pop and Dwarf Golger from Queen Cattaker trying to sustain his melee stats, but oh no! Quick Cattaker got knocked over earlier, and he has his back turn against the Chaos Lord of Nurgle, and he absolutely gets smacked. The front line of the Skaven's also not faring too hot though, as the Poisoning Globes have been disrupted by the Chaos Knights, and was not able to do much against the enemy front line. The Forsaken has mostly punched through without too much resistance. And yeah, I think that is basically it for the Skavens here. Their front line falls, and all the Nurgle melee units are flooding the back line. All the damage output units, the Rattling Guns, the Poison Globes are on the run. Some of them even shattered already. The Poison Wind Globes really need to regroup and start firing again. But yeah, probably need more Poison Globes in this matchup. Maybe 1 or 2 units of Rattling Guns is probably enough. And the rest of the funds needs to go into the Poisoning Globes. Forsaken spam rush is definitely a common tactic against Skaven. So, oh wait, whoa! The Chaos Lord of Nurgle still got deleted by the Rattling Guns though. But yeah, the balance of fire is slightly in favor of Nurgle now. Case is on Queek. I need to rewatch this and see what happens. Tiles are nasty in the VZ. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do there. Yeah. I think VZ just really needs some help right now, due to how limited their roster is. But yeah, that's a topic for later. But right now, Skaven slave slingers have come back and start peppering down enemies, but they are only slingers. They can only do so much there. And Chaos Knights with lances are just cleaning up the back line. They're charging whatever light armor unit they can find, like the red ogres here, running them over with their excellent charge bonus. And I think we can fast forward here, leaving as only Queek and Hellpit Abomination are still in the fight. But they are now surrounded and grind down by stuff, mostly Forsaken in general. The Hellpit Abomination might have regeneration and all, but that's not enough. Let's jump back in. My health game cooked me in the round 2. It's tough. Okay, no spoilers, mate. But yeah, we are moving on soon to the finals, but let's just quickly see what happened to the Chaos Lord of Nurgle. How did he die so fast? He had the upper hand against Queek earlier, but then he just dropped. Well, he didn't exactly die, but took a huge chunk of damage. All right, let's see. Things moving. Chaos Lord got the charge on Queek and get a really good damage output. Oh right, Queek did suffer the melee attack debuff there, so he wasn't able to land too many hits at the beginning. But then he starts fighting back and absolutely slapping the poor Chaos Lord with very, very consistent hit. He got taken down to half health, but then he pulled it back, and then the Hellpit Abomination got the terror route off. But yeah, that unfortunately was still not enough, as the flanks were just crushed by a combination of Forsaken and Chaos Knights. Wait, I swear, I remember there were 2 Poisoning Globes. Oh wait, there's only 1 Poisoning Globes. Okay, that explains. Definitely need more Poisoning Globes in this matchup here. You cast that one already? Nurgle versus High Elves. Ah, right, yeah. Fair. Yeah, the Sisters of Avalon Firepower. Yeah, I think that's what happened, right? Alright, yeah, the Epidemius build. Yeah, that was hilarious though. Alright, anyways, next up I think we should go into the finals. Let me just quickly pick up the lobby code so we can quickly join that. Also, screen blocker. Wait, what? I mean, I just input it wrong. There we go. Now we wait. Alright, Nurgle versus High Elves in the finals. Alright, General Spotify, are you gonna make a rematch and make a comeback? Or are you still gonna go with Epidemius and Meme? We shall see. But yeah, Elmo has been consistently using the Sisters of Avalon build throughout the games. So maybe we can expect that to appear again. But yeah, we shall see whether it's gonna actually happen or it's gonna be different. Actually, yeah, you never know, because sometimes players would be playing some certain builds throughout the battle, throughout the tourney, and then switch up the last minute and throw in a mixer in there, and just kind of throw your expectations off. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Looks like Nurgle army is all set, with only some loose change remaining. So General Spotify is set and done. Elmo is still picking their army, but they're close to complete. 50-50, we shall see. Alright, screen blocker off. Looks like we're seeing Sisters of Avalon, but with a little bit more moderation. Only one Sisters today. And one more Talents of Turkaleda with no tacklers in sight. Instead, Imric is leading the army with a live caster support. A line of very staunch spears, actually. 3 spears, 2 Silver Guard, and 2 Silver Helm, 1 Fireborn. And yeah, that's basically it for the High Elf army. On General Spotify's side, we saw Tamarkin the Maggot Lord, supported by Case. Once again, no caster on his on his side of the battlefield. Oh, there's 2 Silver Helms actually on the High Elf side. But yeah, once again, no caster at all. A line of Pestigals and Rotting Riders, Barons of the Bog, and the Plague Drones of Nurgle. They don't have Death's Head, so they're just here for the melee power, which is not. Oh wow, Tamarkin the Maggot Lord going in bravely with a Toad Dragon. Oh boy, this is gonna be rough for the Toad Dragon. Those Sisters, man, they deleted them once, they can delete them a second time, but this time there are less Sisters on the field, so things might be different. But Tamarkin is on the Toad Dragon, meaning that he does not have anti-launch, making it quite slightly more difficult for him to fight Imric. But Case is here to help, so maybe things will be different. We shall see, we shall see. But yeah, I guess the idea is just to drop the Plague Drones on the Sisters of Avalon and just puke on them with the Toad Dragon. But we shall see. Looks like the monsters and the mobility are being concentrated on one side, trying for a flank overload. No, looks like the Barons of the Bog are scattered on the other side of the battlefield, going for a 2-prong approach. One with the main thrust of the Rotting Riders, the Lord, and the Plague Drones. The other with the Barons of the Bog trying to look for opportunities on the other side. Maybe they can strike from the flank and hit up the Sisters of Avalon, or get a rear charge on the Fireborn, as their attention, the High Elves' attention, most certainly will be focused on this side. But yeah, there's also some Silver Helms on the field, so we shall see. But Barons of the Bog, if they get a charge on the Silver Helms, they should be able to take them down, no problem. They might not have passive regeneration, but they're still a very sturdy unit with physical resistance, Vigor Refresh, and melee defense buff. Now, they are lightly armored, so they're taking quite a bit of damage on impact, but they are debuffing their opponents by poisoning them, dragging them down with superior melee stats. Now, on the other side, the Nurgle army is approaching the front line there. Oh, but here comes the Sisters of Avalon, setting their eyes on Tamarkin, the Maggot Lord. Tamarkin needs to figure out something, figure out what to do with the Sisters of Avalon. And also Imric is in as well, but we see the Rotting Riders get a really good charge on the Fireborn. Somehow the Fireborn didn't really get a charge on the... Oh, they probably had their attack target on something else, and didn't actually get an attack order on the Rotting Riders. And the Rotting Riders got such a clean engagement on those poor Fireborn. And on top of that, oh, there's so much damage coming in. Nurgle's favorite son, the Blade of Filth. Oh, debuffing their melee defense, and the Fireborn got deleted. Oh, and the Tears of Nurgle as well, slowing them down. Holy shit, that's a lot of debuffs coming in from Nurgle. Deleting the Fireborn and their best target best unit to shut down Tamarkin, when the Sisters of Avalon has now been disrupted by the Plague Drones. Seems like the all melee, no spell Nurgle build approach is working so far. The Fireborn has been repelled. The Talents of Turkaleda is turning around.
But Tamarkin is ready to jump on them using that charge impact damage, the collision damage, to really slap down those poor Talons. Doing some nice damage. And now the Case and the Rotting Riders are free to hound and surround Imric and his Star Dragon now. You can see how much shock damage he's taking right now. Sisters of Avalon, they are still not free, as the Silverhelms on the other flank has been repelled by the Barons of the Balku. It's now freed up and now flooding the back line and shutting down the Sisters of Avalon as well. So Imric is well and truly alone. The regrowth has been used earlier. It's probably either on cooldown or they haven't saved up enough magic to use it again. So Imric getting absolutely slapped by Case and the Rotting Riders. And yeah, I think that is going to be GG. That's a very quick Nurgle victory with no spell casting. Just go all in on melee rush. And that worked out. That worked out. Looks, and yeah, Spotify successfully makes a comeback in this game versus the High Elves there. I wonder if High Elves should have just stick with Techless. GG. That was a very good game. I mean, a very well executed rush from the Nurgle army, to be specific. Yeah. Sending in these units on the far flank, and then just barely avoiding some of the Sisters of Avalon focus fire, and then drop the plague drones to disrupt one of the Sisters of Avalon, and everything else jump the poor 5-1. I want to rewatch it again just to see how the 5-1 went down so fast, because they got absolutely deleted at the initial engagement by the Rotting Riders. Yeah, 3,000 gold worth of damage value. Go work on how to fight up close. Kits, you don't need a caster. just work on how to fight up close. Fine. You made your point. Case the Befouled also did very well going after Imric alongside those Rotting Riders. Unfortunately, the Sisters of Avalon this time did not have the space and time to dish out the damage, as their army is rather narrow, especially all the investment onto the Silverin Guard. If there was a Tackless around dropping those Net of Ammontox, that might have been very different, just to lock down Tamarkin. Like, if Tamarkin earlier got locked down and got shot by 2 Sisters of Avalon, that's probably GG for the Nurgle army. But yeah, there was cutting down one of the Sisters of Avalon might not have been worth it, and bringing in Imric as well might not have been worth it here. An ability to control the enemy caster might have been more useful to lock down the Toad Dragon, but nobody expects a Toad Dragon, really. So it's kind of hard to say that this is a bad choice or anything. But yeah, that is going to be GG here, with Spotify taking the crown of this Conquest Mode Swiss tourney. GG to Spotify, and GG to everyone who played in the tourney. I hope everyone had a good time playing the games here. We are moving on to the replay section. We have gone through most of them, so we don't have a whole lot remaining to cast. I'm just going to quickly ask for the semifinals of the... Oh, yeah, of the... Nurgle's first... Yeah, Nurgle versus Demons of Chaos. And then we should be good. And now that should be all the replays, unless I missed any. Oh yeah, we most certainly haven't seen that one. We have oh, this is gonna be a long grind. Yeah, let's just watch some Lizardmen versus Demons of Chaos first. Add a little bit more variety to the video content. I'll play here. Oh, nice. That was a good run though. You went all the way into the finals with the Sisters of Avalon Firepower. Very strong combo indeed, and very well executed with those Net of Ammontox combos with the Talents of Torulada and Sisters. Very well played. Anyways, we will be looking at the army builds here first. Demons of Chaos versus Lizardmen. Demons of Chaos going with a line of Nurglings backed up by Plague Toads of Nurgle with Sour Guts and Fiends of Slaanesh. In the skies, we have the Exalted Lord of Change with Metal Magic. Am I seeing things? Or Gehenna's Golden Hounds? That's something you don't see every day. You're almost always better off going with Searing Doom, just because how cost efficient and how effective that spell is against blobs of enemy. It's good against infantry, it's good against cavalry, it's even decent against monstrous infantry. So why use Gehenna's Golden Hound when you have Searing Doom? But yeah, let's see if the Golden Hounds can actually do something today. Frolickers Bubonic as one of the Nurglings, actually. Screamers of Tinge in the skies, and Fiends of Slanesh at the flanks. Yeah, Exalted Lord of Change of Metal. Soul Grinder of Tinge. Ready to launch some firepower and just lob those magical missiles, Warp Flames, against the Nurgle, against the Lizardmen army. For the Lizardmen, a front line of Saurus once again with Red Crested, so a relatively expensive front line, backed up by one single Umbral Tide and a couple Sacred Boxagors. Now, Boxagors, in this matchup, they can be decent because of their magical damage, bypassing that physical resistance on most demons, but yeah, they're still very expensive, so let's see if it pays off. Saurus Spears and Saurus Guard Vet on the far side there. Caster is a Flock of Doom Skin Priest and Curse of Honor Air. Anyways, the Umbral Tide already opening fire and putting a huge dent in the HP bar of these Screamers, really making them feel the pain here. Now, they are still aiming at the Screamers, but the Screamers are retreating, while the Nurglings are coming in to try and get the and the Soul Grinder launching fire, just lobbing those missiles at the and picking off those Umbral Tide. That is quite painful because the Lizardman doesn't really have anything to work on the Soul Grinder yet. Chameleon Skins all the way on the other side of the battlefield are way too far away, out of position, unable to engage and commit to any fights yet. And the Saurus Garvet, that was a mistake, overextending a little bit too much there, allowing the Fiends to surround him and beat him down with Soporific Gust, dropping his melee defense up even more. And the Screamer surrounding, that's a lot of anti-large and armor-piercing weapon damage there. Yep, the Scarvet is pretty much done, unless the Demon's unit retreats. And we also see Nakai the Wanderer on the field once again, but he's struggling to decide where to engage, he is needed pretty much everywhere. Yeah, the Umbral Tide is now surrounded by Nurglings and Fiends too, and the Saurus Spears are out of position, unable to deal with the enemy monstrosity. Oh no! Oh no! Wait, where's? Oh wait. The Sacred Croxagors are too expensive, and I don't see any Coan cavalry. Wait, there's no way this. I feel like this Lizardman army is almost too narrow, too small. I'm not sure. Or maybe they just have. Nakai also have his whole toolkit too. Saurus Garvet also has a pretty big toolkit. So these are some funds that extracted quite a bit of stuff away from being able to afford Coan Spear Riders. Coan Spear Riders is almost always a must-have unit for the Lizardmen army, just because how they are their only unit that can stop large units, that has decent speed deck to counter enemy cavalry and monsters. Yeah, Croxagors doesn't have that same speed and anti-large. So yeah, the Crossagors are pushing forth, but unfortunately where they needed the most to protect those Umbral Tide, and they were just not there. And now Nakai is also completely alone, surrounded by Fiends and the Exalted Lord of Change. So now Red Crested and Saurus Spears are all flooding into the backline, trying to give Nakai the support. He might also want to turn on his Primal Roar at this point. But Final Transmutation, really trying to secure that kill on Nakai here, the Exalted Lord of Change. Just constantly setting his eyes on Nakai the Wanderer. Flock of Doom onto a bunch of demon units, but I don't think that is enough to turn this game around here. Nakai is being seen off by the Exalted Lord of Change with nothing to really save him at this point. And the Fiends are just having their grand old time, grinding through the Crossagors. The Spears should be able to do well in this kind of block fight, but it might be too little too late. The front line overall is just not doing too well for the Lizardmen either. Chameleon Skins are finally here, trying to chip away the health of the Exalted Lord of Change, but yeah, I don't think that matters a whole lot right now. The Fiends are still pretty much full health. Well, they took some damage because of the Saurus Spears, but that's about it. They still have a lot more steam left. And the Saurus Spears, the Saurus in the front line trying to beat down the Sour Guts, but unfortunately, the Sour Guts explosion, their their ability can do really good damage even against melee units against them. So worst come to worst, and a unit that tries to beat them down in melee will just get torn down by them with the on-death explosion as well. But yeah, it looks like the Nakai is trying to resecure some advantage here with all his forces reconverging over here. But yeah, fighting against the Singe Soul Grinder is still a rough job here, because that is still a Soul Grinder with decent armor-piercing weapon strength and all that. And now he's just aiming down Nakai and trying to finish him off from afar. Lobbing another shot, and oof, that is a painful hit for sure. And the Exalted Lord of Change can just simply fly over and finish him off. But yeah, yeah, we can fast forward a bit. The Chameleon Skins are doing some good damage to the Exalted Lord of Change, but once he drops the in and finished off Nakai, the Lizardmen is on a pretty big disadvantage. A lot of stuff just kind of breaks earlier than they should have. These Sword of Spears should not have broken to mere Nurglings, but they have taken some damage. Their leadership was slightly low, and then the Lord died debuff. Minus 16 leadership is massive. Put a lot of Lizardmen on the run, and that just kind of collapsed their balance of power. GG. But yeah, the Sargots definitely did some good damage, but most important of all are the Fiends of Slaanesh. With nothing really to stop them, the Boxigors are pretty much the only thing that can threaten the Fiends, but some of them were just way too committed in other bits of battle, allowing the Fiends free reign at the Lizardmen backline, which is quite unfortunate. And Soul Grinder got some good damage too, shooting up the Umbral Tide from afar, and oh, and then the Screamers Fiends and Screamers come in to finish them off. But yeah, Chameleon Skins did surprisingly well, but they just entered the fight a little bit too late there. I think that most of their damage comes from whittling down the Exalted Lord of Change, since the Lord of Change doesn't have a lot of armor. But it was not able to turn the battle around, and yeah, a lot of expensive units over here with the Chameleon Skins, Saurus Spears, and Sacred Boxigors, and also the Saurus Scarvet, but unfortunately they were not quite able to bring this battle in. Really cool to see Nakai on the field, but unfortunately he's just not exactly a meta lord, and he has a very limited application. Like, the only way to really build an army around him is to make a blob build that really synergizes with his AoE buffs, the Golden Tribute and the Primal Roar, and also the Miasma of Despair. But blob builds are not exactly good against any balanced army. They're either gonna get kited or just gonna get shot to death. It's rough. Oh, and also get punished by Final Transmutation too. So it's pretty rough. But yeah, nice to see the guy here occasionally. But yeah, he's just unfortunate. Not the time for him right now. Next up, Nurgle versus Vampire Count. We might have to fast forward this one just because this is going to be a grind. With Mortis Engine on one side and Epidemius again? Mate, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't mean it in a bad sense. I just find it's more of like a comedic context here. Mate. Epidemius again, you really don't learn from your mistakes, don't you? Alright, once again Spotify going with a full melee build with no spellcaster, and once again Epidemius on the field. That is a bizarre sight to see for sure. A front line of Plague Bearers with some Forsaken and Nurgling Frolickers Bubonic, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle here, Babilia's Thundergraph, and yeah, Regiment of Renown Giant once again. Okay, this build was not bad against VC. Okay, we shall see what happens here. Case be fouled once again. And of course, last but not least, Epidemius with his Plague Bearer summon and Sands of Sickness. Actually, the Sands of Sickness can do well if the vampires blob up hard. And don't forget the very threatening presence of the Chaos Giant. On the other side of the battlefield, a front line of zombies and skellies. Very typical stuff. Supported by the Necromancer on a Corpse God. I assume with Balefire, which is, I like this one, because the fire damage can definitely cut down the Nurgle healing. But the problem is the Nurgle is not bringing any healing today. Oh, he's just 100% useless, lol. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, Barons of the Bog on the Nurgle army side as well. with Demon Spill. I don't see the Rotting Riders. Interesting. And Chaos Warriors with great weapons at the back too, in case they need to hack apart some armor. But yeah, anyways, back to the the undead army build here. Skeleton Spears, Crypt Horrors at the back, and one Mortis Engine ready to drain down the Nurgle army in a prolonged melee grind. Okay, this might be the most threatening piece of Vampire army in this battle here, just because it can sit in the middle of a bunch of plague bearers and chill and drain them down over time. So the Bilious Thundergraph definitely need to prioritize on taking this chunk of construct out. Anyways, in the sky, some Varguys, and leading the army is Manfred what is it, von Carstein Vampire Lord. It is a von Carstein, but not a Manfred von Carstein. Immediately dropping in those Flock of Dooms to drain down the enemy units. But the problem is, Plague Bearers have one of the highest HP. Well, actually they have less HP than zombies. But yeah, they still have a ton of HP in the game. So it's gonna take them time to like kill off all those Plague Bearers with Flock of Dooms. Yeah, the Mortis engine needs to be activated. But anyways, Demon Spill immediately plunges into the Skeleton Spears, but here comes the Necromancer support and the Crypt Horrors as well, trying to beat back those Demon Spill with some armor-piercing attacks. And Mortis Engines is in. Epidemius is playing bumper cars with Mortis Engine. Oh, here comes the Sands of Sickness. Everything has reduced melee defense, and also the farting explosion. Epidemic outburst from Epidemius actually thin out some of the zombies, which works out pretty neat. Oh, Exalted Plague Bearers, nice summon though. Just dropping in right behind the Mortis Engine and utilizing those Death's Head throws. Immediately opening fire at the Mortis Engine, working down its HP, and there's not much to stop them from just keep firing. Although for some reason they're trying to move into melee. So the Mortis Engine are just ramming into some of the Exalted Plague Bearers, trying to disrupt their shooting. And the Varguys are trying to deliver some rear charges as well, just to work down the HP of the Plague Bearers. But yeah, Exalted Plague Bearers, they need to keep firing. They don't have long on this world before fading back to the Immaterium. So they just need to keep firing. Use up all their Death's Head. But the Mortis Engine, one thing that's good about it is it does have a little bit of a chariot speed. I mean, not exactly chariot, but definitely more speed than your typical infantry, and definitely way more speed than your Nurgle infantry. So yeah, they're turning around. It's taking a lot of time for the Plague Bearers to catch up, and they're gonna disappear soon. Oh, they're just gonna disappear soon, aren't they? They're bugging on me for sure. Yeah, they look like they're bugging, and they're gone. That was a shame. Only use up like 20%, 40% of their ammo. But yeah, at the same time though, the Plague Bearers are just getting a lot of good work done on the enemy zombies. Demon Spear though being grind down by a combination of Mortis Engine, Necromancer, and the Crypt Horrors. They're taking more and more damage over time. And Epidemius Nurgle is looking to be losing steam right now. Plague Bearers have still a lot more to give. The problem is they need to finish off the Mortis Engine. There's also the Varguys in the skies, but every time that the Varguys charges in, they just take a ton of attrition damage. I just don't like that unit. They're just so fragile. Every time, they just take so much damage in every single melee engagement. Yeah, it's very hard to use them well. But yeah, seeing the Barons of the Balk is completely isolated, they're just going to jump the Barons of the Balk and finish it off. Well, the Nurgle army occupied the capture point earlier and will be moving on to the other parts of the battlefield. Just consolidating with their units here. And try to move on to the next part of the fight. Chaos Warriors are, they most certainly have been rear charged a bit by Varguys. Or got breath attack. Doesn't really matter. The point is they have taken quite a bit of damage, and now the Mortis Engine is coming in, trying to get some damage done. This is where the Bilious Thundergraph might want to start force pathing into the Mortis Engine, who is almost back to full health, by the way. But then immediately getting slapped by the Bilious Thundergraph is definitely taking a toll on his HP pool. Another breath attack, this time a breath attack from Manfred von Carstein, from the von Carstein Lord. trying to whittle down some of the Plague Bearers, but they are a very sturdy unit, and they're holding on for now. Block of Doom trying to drain down every single one of these Nurgle units, but the Mortis Engine cannot be saved just by that. It is taking a ton more damage. Both Case and the Bilious Thundergrub are on him. And once the Mortis Engine goes down, that is going to be an uphill battle for the Vampire Counts. Not only are they losing their Mortis Engine drain, they're also losing an important source of passive healing. They can keep their units in the fight. They're also losing, slowly losing more and more of their chaff. So things are not looking great for the Vampire Counts for sure. But it's not really. But the Nurgle army is also not out of the woods yet. They have won me more games. I agree on the VAR guys. Yeah. But I agree on the VAR guys. Yeah, they're just so fragile. They are like the only good damage dealing unit outside of Blood Knights. But at the same time, they every time he charges in, they just take so much damage. They take so much care to make it work. And my micro doesn't have that. Not yet, at least. But yeah, they're now the Vampire Counts are psycho charging now. Yeah, Cryptors. But at the same time, looks like the balance of power is still in favor of the Vampire Counts simply because they have so much passive regenerating units on the field, and the Necromancer is still around. They don't have any more Forbidden Rod cast, but yeah, they are still around to produce that fire damage. Not that it matters against an army that doesn't use any healing, and also they also provide. Oh wait, no, that's just. Magic attacks, that comes in really handy to just bypass those demonic physical resistance of the Plague Bearers. But now it's just, and also of the Epidemius as well. But Case and Thundergrub doesn't really care about magic attacks. Anyways, we are gonna fast forward here as it is a single entity battle here. The Thundergrub is trying his damnedest to bring this one back, but it's gonna be a Psycho Charging Fest from the Von Kostan Vampire Lord. Slowly but surely working down the health of Kask, and Kask is out. Army losses hit, everything crumbles. Victory belongs to the undead. My monster bug on me later on me as well. Looks like that's what happened. The single entities didn't manage to bring this one back, and yeah, bringing Epidemius is definitely a handicap, a massive handicap on top of not having any caster. But taking out the Mortis Engine was really huge. Just limiting the value it can get from those passive health drains. But unfortunately, the lack of mobility or not having any Rotting Riders might have bitten the Nurgle army in the back of the very smelly back, very smelly behind. And the Von Kostan and Vampire Lord was able to just constantly psycho charging in the characters to death. As the only cavalry here, the Barons of the Bog, was isolated and overwhelmed earlier in the game. By just a ton of stuff, really. Like literally the entire Vampire Counts army were on them at one point in the mid-game scenario there. Alright, that is it for this one. Let's move on to Lizardmen versus High Elves. Let's see what happens to this one here. Sesame Elmo going once again with Imric. But no Sisters of Avalon this time. Interesting. Instead, there are only 3 Loafen Seagull at the back line. A front line of a staunch line of spears. 3 spears, 2 Silvern Guards, 1 Ilarian Reavers, and 1 more Silver Helms, no shields. And Fireborn as well. Leading the army is Imric on his Star Dragon, supported by a live mage. He is coming in with, okay, Star Lance, Lord of Dragons, no Horn of no Horn of Dragons, so yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have his horn, so yeah, just making him a very formidable fighter. And on the other side of the battlefield, a front line of Saurus Warriors and Red Crested Skinks again. This time 2 units of Salamander Hunting Packs, not Regiment or Renown, just the regular ones. Trying to save up some more funds for the Bastiladon Solar Engine. Legion of Chakwa and some Koan Spear Riders and Koan Riders at the back. Yeah, a little bit scattered with this kind of army build, and it's still a very expensive front line for a Lizardman standard. And Solar Engine already firing, but missing the shot at Imric. And I don't know why, but the Solar Engine shot actually gets attracted by gravity. Which is weird, considering it's a pure energy. Pure sunlight energy. But yeah. They probably should start shooting at the Loven Sea God, maybe? Or Silverhelm works too, but yeah. We'll fast forward a bit. As the solar engine is struggling to land hits, and alright, starting to blast Imric with some help of the Salamander Hunting Pack. Sora's infantry and the Red Crested are moving in, trying to get into melee range, but if the Red Crested gets stuck on spears, that might be a big trouble for them, because the Loven Sea God can make short work of them. Though they're a bit busy firing at the Hunting Pack for now, the Hunting Pack becomes the hunt, it looks like. And yeah, Soras are all moving into melee. Hand of the Gods. Oh, that was such an unfortunate miss. Imric was in the lunging attack animation of the dragon, and the Hand of the Gods from Krogar barely misses it because of the lunging animation. Fireborn are moving into the backline, seeing that the Feral Bastillodon are plunging into the depths of the formation here, disrupting the Loven Sea God, but also opening himself to a surround from the Fireborn. Not that the surround does anything in terms of flanking and rear charging, but at least they're getting those anti-large melee attacks in. Salamander Hunting Pack kind of ravaging these Loven Sea Gods, but the Red Crested Skink front line is crumbling. Bastillodon. One use of the Bastillodon could have been just shooting at the Silvern Guard to reduce their melee stats, because the blinded effect is really good at reducing enemy melee prowess. But yeah, a little bit of a pretty big mistake on Micro here. The Salamander Hunting Pack got caught by the Silvern Guard and got finished off by them as well. A little bit of Earthblood in the backline, while being counteracted by a Flock of Doom, I believe, but most of the units are out of the woods. Oh no, Curse of Onra Air trying to reduce their melee stats. Yeah, this Lizardmen army unfortunately are very scattered, and not a lot of units in the position to protect their backline assets. Wait, where are the Koans? Oh, the Koans are all committed onto this side here, trying to fight back the Silverhelms, but the Spearmen are here to screen them off. And where's the second unit of Koan Cavalry? Huh. But yeah, once again, the Fireborn are unstoppable, rear charging wherever they go, and the Feral Bastillodon not fighting Loven Sea God, and instead trying to go and headbutt the Mage of Life. He's not gonna finish off the Mage of Life soon, and yeah, this unfortunately I don't think this high elf, this Lizardman build is very prepared to deal with a high elf army. Way too much Salamander Hunting Packs, and Imric with the Star Dragon do have 50% of damage resistance against fire damage, fire missiles, which is exactly what the Salamander Hunting Pack is. Fire damage against High Elf is generally not a good idea because they have so much fire resistance. The Fireborn has fire resistance. Imric has fire resistance on his Star Dragon. 25%, 25%, and that's a 50% reduction on fire missiles. Fireborn doesn't have missile resistance, but they do have physical resistance. That is a 55% damage reduction. And on top of that, the Salamander Hunting Pack doesn't have the best armor piercing values, and a lot of that will be mitigated by the heavy armor of the Fireborn, by the Dragon Princess, and by Imric's Star Dragon. And yeah, the Loven Sea God are surviving. They're getting hit by the Koan Riders, but they should be fine. They are still a spear unit, even if they can't shoot. And Sora's also getting one down in the Battle of Attrition by the spears and archers. And Imric getting the charge on Krogar and just munching him up. So yeah, I think that is a pretty dominant, pretty dominant high elf victory here, as they're just cleaning up all the damage output of the Lizardman side. Krogar got pushed back, and then Imric decided not to give chase and finish off the Skink Priest instead. Yeah. And then Krogar came back and got surrounded and beaten up by the Fireborn. And that's gonna be army losses. Look how they did my boy. Oh well. But yeah, not enough backline protection. Too much. Again, it's just too much assets invested onto the Sora Spears, and they're just too expensive and not enough performance to earn back their worth there. I mean, if given time, they can grind through a bunch of troops, but the main threat are the mobility on the High Elf side and the Lord, which they can't really catch up to and deal with. And one of the Salamander Hunting Pack did well, but the other not so much here. Trying to fire at Imric. Actually, let's let's rewatch this and see what happened to this Elemental Hunting Pack. I want to check it out again. And the Solar Engine, it probably should have just keep shooting at the spears. One thing, other than doing damage, it also does the melee debuff to help the Saurus clean up the spears faster, and then provide those infantry support elsewhere, or even just shoot at the Fireborn to debuff their melee stats and help the Koan cavalry to fight against them. But alas, that is what it is, and that is gonna be it for this battle. Just gonna quickly jump back in to see what the fuck happened to those Salamander hunting packs on the right. And then after that, that should be the last game for the day. Alright, let's speed run this. Did you cast my second game? No, I haven't. There was a last game after this. There's like one last game after this. Don't worry about it. I got you. Like the last game means the game after this one. I'm just rewatching it just to see what happened to the salamanders on the right. Oh, they moved in and start blasting the enemy infantry. Yeah, forgot to talk about this part about salamander hunting packs. Their projectile explode, so against densely packed infantry they can do damage. Wait, aren't these ones that... Wait. Oh, these ones are firing and gaining all the value. Okay, yeah. My bad. Wrong salamander hunting pack. They're just sitting back and blasting those blasting those Loven Sea God from afar. Got some decent damage, but not quite enough to oh, and then they shoot at Imric. Why, I imagine that wouldn't earn them too much. Oh, that's... Oh, damage is still damage, I guess. Especially against an expensive unit. But yeah, I don't think it does enough burst damage to really take them down. Take Imric down fast enough. And yeah, that's GG. Good, I went to the bathroom, so not sure what I missed. Yeah, don't worry about it. I gotcha. Like, you can always rewatch. Wait, what? Sorry. Oh wait, wrong battle, wrong click. I was just want to watch what rewatch what the first 500 gold worth of damage value come from for the salamander hunting packs. But all right, give me a second. I'm just gonna quickly load into that one. Oh yeah, Greenskins versus Vampire. That was a really fun finals battle in on Wednesday. Orcs, yeah. Don't forget about the bloated. That's a quad bloat. Alright, speed run this. Just look at the damage value and see what happens here. They moved up, come on, get some shots out. Oh, it's from Imric as well. Wait, no, they only got a volley, and because of damage reduction, it doesn't really do much. Some damage against the spears, and then after that, it's the Loven Sea God. Yeah, they can do some decent damage against infantry, but unfortunately, this battle is not their forte. Alright, last game for the day. Semifinals. General Spotify with Nurgle versus Sense Fishy with Demons of Chaos. Demons of Chaos going in with a very narrow army, but both sides are going... wait, no. Just one side going all in on melee. Because General Spotify once again coming in with all those melee units with no caster as Nurgle. All in on melee. A line of Forsaken, 2 Lance Chaos Knights of Nurgle. And 2... Rot Flies, not even a Plague Drones, just Rot Flies to disrupt enemy shooting, and Forsaken frontline. Right. Cavalry, Furies in the skies, ready to disrupt enemy backline and shooting and whatnot. And on the other side, I'm very worried about the... Okay, well, You all know how this goes. But anyways, I'm quite worried about the Demons of Chaos army. There's no melee at all. There's nothing to stop the Forsaken. The blue horrors are just gonna get... the Forsaken is just gonna run straight into the blue horrors with nothing to stop them. And start punching them down. Sargas is at the back, starting to fire soon, but Plague Drones and Furies are there to just drop into them and shut them down. So yeah, all the blue horrors are shut down. The Knights and Forsaken are charging straight into the Fiends. And the Fiends, because that's a head-on charge, their devastating flanker trait was not actually active, I don't think. Oh, there's also the Corn's Bloody Fist in here. Exalt the Keeper of Secrets, rampage enemy units and keep them in a fight, but looks like this battle actually doesn't, this little engagement here actually isn't going too bad for Nurgle either, taking out the Fiends, although taking a lot of damage on the Forsaken, but they did get a head-on engagement against the Fiends, so that was fine, I guess. While the blue horrors are getting ravaged right now, they all are getting punched down by a lot of mobility and Forsaken, and in the skies though, the Furies have lost in their attempt to silence the Burning Chariot, who just shot point blank, and now because it's an Exalted Flamer riding the Burning Chariot, it's actually triggering those vortex damage. In fact, no, why are you going in melee? No! Oh, just trying to commit more resources into routing the Chaos Knights, I guess. So the Demons of Chaos are victorious in this specific engagement, but the rest are going in Nurgle's favorite, Tamarkin and his melee forces, running straight through those Chromatic Abomination, and Sarguts are also taking more and more damage over time. Things are not looking hot for the Demons of Chaos. But the Fiends at least are chasing off the Forsaken. And Khorne's Bloody Fist is starting to beat up some rot flies with the help of the Fiends as well. But here comes a blob of unholy, smelly, stinky yeah, there's no, I want to say stinky fat belly, but there's no Plogers here other than Tamarkin. So, yeah, unholy force of Nurgle stinky riders here, and Forsaken, a lot of stinky units come moving in. Man, I don't want to imagine the smell here, coupled with the soporific moss from the Fiends of Slaanesh. But yeah, right on the head-on charge because of the slightly uphill charge of the Chaos Knights of Nurgle, and also them being debuffed to all hell thanks to Acquiescence and Soporific Moss and Warflame. They're taking quite a bit of damage, but at the same time, more and more Nurgle forces are consolidating, flooding in, trying to overwhelm this lack of numbers of Demons of Chaos here. And Forsaken are excellent damage dealers after all, while Fiends of Slaanesh really struggle to stay in a prolonged melee combat. They're taking more and more damage, and why is the Burning Chariot in the melee fight here? I think that's a big micro mistake here. It should have been in the skies, dropping those flaming shots and working through the HP of those infantry. If he was staying in the sky and continuously shooting, things might be very different, but right now he's taking a lot of unnecessary damage in this melee fight, and the monsters are also being worn down by those Chaos Knights and Forsaken, who simply have way more HP left and can sustain themselves in this melee fight more. There's still some damage coming in from Burning Chariot being sustained by the Relentless Rage. I think the Demons of Chaos player might have confused a bit on the role of the Burning Chariot. Like, it has the chariot in their name, but it's not actually a chariot that goes in melee. It should stay in the sky, just use up all its shots to burn down the enemy infantry or even cavalry, if possible. Because the Flaming Vortex actually does a whole lot of damage against multi-entity units, and right now it's just getting killed. I guess it still shoots in melee and unleashes a few very deadly vortexes, but it would have done a lot more if it was shooting from the skies, burning down the enemy formation from there, from a distance. But looks like Tamarkin is... Oh wait, Tamarkin is getting worked down by the Khorne's Bloody Fist, punching it down, absolutely slapping him. Wait, what is happening? Wait, what? What is happening? Khorne's Bloody... wait, I don't see how Tamarkin can bring this one back up. Oh wait, no, oh, he does have his ability, maybe? Beast of the Magalord, but he needs to get the Exalted Keeper of Secrets in range before he dies. Oh no, the Keeper of Secrets needs to stay the hell away from Tamarkin, because if Tamarkin gets close, he's just gonna get the burst heal back. Khorne's Bloody Fist isn't a hero, so it doesn't count. But the Exalted Lord, Keeper of Secrets is... And Tamarkin is beelining straight for the Exalted Keeper of Secrets. Is Tamarkin's unique ability he's gonna activate here. Oh yeah, he is going in. He's going in. He is getting killed. Wait, what is the threshold of activation again? Cannot die. Enabled if ability. Automatically when hit points reaches 0. Oh no, Tamarkin! He's getting killed! He is getting killed! Run away! Run away! Okay, Exalted Keeper of Secret is running away, but Khorne's Bloody Fist is running out of HP. He needs... The Khorne's Bloody Fist needs to kill Tamarkin. But no, it looks like he's crumbling, just fading away a little bit too much. No... Fading away a little bit too much from those Forsaken Surround. Can Khorne's Bloody Fist make the kill before he goes down? Nope, looks like he's going into melee once again, trying to stabilize his own HP. And Tamarkin. Oh, it probably would have been better if it was a... Oh no, here comes Tamarkin's ability. It probably would have been better if it was Pavane just to drain down Tamarkin's last bit of HP, but no, that's not happening. Khorne's Bloody Fist also died, and that Feast of the Magalord clutched this battle for Nurgle there. As Demons of Chaos ran out of ways to kill Tamarkin. Oh boy. Oh boy, that was a clutch one. Tamarkin bringing this one back with his unique ability. If Tamarkin didn't go down like that, if it wasn't, oh, I mean, if Khorne's Bloody Fist managed to finish off Tamarkin earlier, it would have been the Demon's victory there, as the Forsaken would have just broken. But Tamarkin, because enemy Lord is in range, activated ability. No, I don't know why he tried to fight him. That's probably because he ran out of ways to actually fight Tamarkin. Because there's no way to kill Tamarkin at that point. Tamarkin is unbreakable, he can't crumble, and I don't know what else he can do to kill Tamarkin. Other than trying to, like, bet on the fact, trying to bet on whether the Feast of the Magalord can will kill the Keeper of Secrets. But yeah, Khorne's Bloody Fist definitely should have just go all in on killing Tamarkin, but failing to do so, that means Tamarkin, that means the Exalted Keeper of Secrets being the only thing left on the Demons of Chaos roster army, had no choice but to confront Tamarkin in a melee fight sooner or later, and that brings him, that just kills him. Because Tamarkin is just gonna get a burst heal, while the Keeper of Secrets is not gonna get a burst heal. At least not as significant of a burst heal as what Tamarkin's getting. And yeah, Tamarkin clutching this shit back. What a close game, but unfortunately, it was perfect. Tamarkin has the perfect ability for the situation, and the Demons of Chaos could not break themselves out of that plight. And yeah, that is all for today's stream. I hope you all enjoyed this new player 20. Massive shout out to Big JP and RTK clan once again for inviting me to cast this weekend 20. Next week there will be another caster. I think it's Human Boy who casts next week's new player 20. So keep an eye out for that. If you want more new player Swiss format conquest action, that should be all from us for today. We're gonna go and host another Wednesday Faction Wars later, but that's gonna be later. That's all for now. Hopefully you all have a nice... I love my Lord, he's good in 1v1, and if you lose, you just eat the Lord that beats you, lol. Yep, that's what Tamarkin does. But yeah, that is all for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's stream. And yeah, whether you've been playing in the 20 or just watching the multiplayer action, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Tactical Lich signing out.